All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to unpack a pretty sharp critique of a major new piece of legislation, the Economic Diversification and Growth Fund Bill 2025. We're going to take a look at the key arguments being made in the source material.
So this whole story really kicks off with one huge number, $225 million. That's the amount of public money that's at the absolute heart of this whole debate. And, when you see a number that big, you've got to ask, right? Where is all this public money actually going? Who's supposed to benefit from it? That's the central question this critique really tries to answer.
Okay, so first things first, let's break down what this fund is all about and how it's supposed to work. So, where is the money coming from? Well, the critique points out that it's being pulled straight from Barbados's consolidated fund. You can just think of that as the government's main bank account. And it's filled with our money, from taxes, fees, and all that stuff. And here's the thing, according to the source, it's not a one and done deal. Nope, the plan is to take out $75 million every single year for 3 years in a row to hit that $225 million total. All right, now we get to the real meat of the critique. The source lays out what it calls 5 alarming red flags. Let's dive right into them. Red flag number 1. Who actually gets the money? This is a big one. The critique claims that the way the bill is written, well, it pretty much shuts the door on local businesses. It points to this specific wording that says to even qualify, a company has to have a major presence outside of Barbados. Okay, next up, the critique zeroes in on some major concerns about accountability, oversight and just being able to see what's really going on. And this is where it gets really interesting. The source basically asks, hey, where are the safeguards? It alleges that for the companies that are going to get this money, there are almost no real checks and balances in place. And while this table really lays it out, on one side, you have what the bill apparently requires, which is just an intent to engage in an activity. Pretty vague. But then look at the other side. The critique lists all the stuff that's apparently not required. The standard stuff you'd expect. Financial statements, info on who the shareholders are, basic background checks. All of it just missing. Then there's red flag number 3, a supposed lack of transparency. According to the source, there's no requirement for the government to tell the public anything. Who's asking for the money? Who actually gets it? How much do they get? And maybe most importantly, did it even work? The critique argues that without that information, public oversight becomes, well, pretty much impossible. And that leads us straight into red flag number 4, power. Specifically, how much power is being put into one person's hands? The source highlights that the bill gives a single, unnamed minister the authority to just go ahead and make these multi-million-dollar deals all by themselves. The critique really hammers this point home, arguing this isn't how things are supposed to work. It pulls this direct quote from the source, saying ministers legally should not be contracting on behalf of government. Pretty clear cut. Okay, so after all these details, why does any of this matter to the average person? Well, the critique connects all of it back to the bigger picture of the economy. In this slide, this really drives the point home in a powerful way. The source puts 2 different government policies side by side. On one hand, you have this proposed $225 million fund aimed at foreign companies with what the critique calls few requirements. And on the other hand, the recent 21-cent increase to the national minimum wage. The comparison is, well, it's stark. So the document doesn't just point out all these problems and leave it at that. Nope. It wraps things up with a very specific proposed course of action for the public. And here's what it suggests. It's basically a step-by-step guide for anyone who wants to get involved. It says to go to the Parliament website, find this specific bill, and then use the public feedback tools right there on the site to make your voice heard. And really, all of this leaves us with a big question at the center of this whole thing, doesn't it? It's not just about one bill. It's about a fundamental challenge. How do you strike that perfect balance between attracting foreign investment and making sure there's full public accountability for how that money is spent? It's a tough one and definitely something worth thinking about.
evening, Barbados. Good evening, the world. You are watching the Marcia Week Show, and we are coming to you live from Barbados. I'm holding in my hand the national flag of Barbados, and you just heard the beautiful anthem of Barbados. And we have been starting our show with the national anthem and the national flag for quite a number of years. I would say more than 2.5 years we've been doing that because this matters to us. This matters to us. So we are Barbadians, and this is just our sign of our love for our country and the fact that we've come together as one to form that opposition for and on behalf of our country, Barbados. So, welcome to everybody who's watching, and we welcome every country because we do touch on different things in the Caribbean. Now, tonight, folks, we started a little differently because something important is happening. And believe it or not, and I know you believe me, those of you who watch us regularly will know what is happening. It's Christmas time. So what does that mean for the government? Anybody out there can tell me. What does that mean for the government? It's Christmas. We are busy and we're doing our shopping and we're changing the curtains and we're seasoning up our meats and we are getting ready for our festivities. Do you know what they do at this time? The same thing happened during Kadumet. What happened? They decide to rush through some bills. The House doesn't normally meet on a Friday, but they went ahead and it met today. And I'm hearing that the Senate is meeting 2 times next week because they want to rush this before Christmas. We are distracted. It is this kind of wicked government. This is the kind of government that the Bible speaks of. And we can't sleep. I told you that. We're going to have to hold a chicken leg in one hand, folks, and we are fighting in the next hand. We are reading, we are paying attention. You are going over the old Marcia Week shows when you're cleaning the house. Yes, we can't give up. We can't stop. I don't know. I mean, I've been here, what's it, Dave? Probably 26 years. I've never seen anything like this in my time in Barbados. Have you? Oh my goodness, these people, they are rushing through things because there's no opposition. Mr. Thorne raised this in the house today, but he can't do it by himself. I thank God for Trisha Watson. And listen to me, we're gonna all have to gang up on this thing. This is our beloved country, and it's not about party or anything, or which side you're on and who you. No, I'm not. I'm enemy. The people might call me their enemy, but I'm enemy of nobody. I come on here for one reason: love. A love for Barbados. And so tonight I can thank Miss Trisha Watson and I can thank Ralph Thorne. When we were busy doing something else, they are looking into this. Of course, Miss Watson sent out a Facebook message and Mr. Thorne was in the house fighting with those people in there today. And here we are tonight. Folks, it's all of us together, and they are seeking to do something that is so treacherous to the Barbadian people. But we are not surprised about that, are we? So we're going to take a few minutes and touch on it tonight, and we're going to keep it going over the entire weekend. Sunday, we're going to go into this again because apparently they are supposed to be meeting 2 times next week, the Senate. So this is now going to go to the Senate to be passed. Do you believe these people? So here, this is what it's all about. $225 million of your taxpayers' money, Barbados. $225 million. Let's go into this a little bit before we jump into Animal Farm tonight. And then we're going to go right into our end of term performance card. And we're dealing with cost of living tonight. So we have a packed night, all right? And during the cost of living time, we're going to ask you to call in. We want to hear from you, right? But Kim, you are right. When we are distracted, this is what they're doing. Let me just get this banner off. Yeah, yes, Dave. Thank you for putting that up. Thank you, Dave. Somebody sent me this just before the show started, and this is really what this is about. Yes, here it is. Mr. Thorne raised it in the lower house today. Trisha Watson went and put it on Facebook, and here we are with it on YouTube. That's what this picture is all about. When all of us come together, you see what is happening? All the little fish, they come together and they're eating the big whale. Is that a whale, Dave, or a shark? A shark. They're eating the big shark. All the little fish come together. All of us from Christchurch and St. Michael and St. Lucy, yes, and St. Philip. It's when we come together that we're going to be able to deal with this shark. Sharks. We have sharks around us in the government, and they are wicked. This is the time when we are paying no attention. Who is supposed to look out for us? Who is supposed to look out for us? And that's why on this show we educate, we motivate, we mobilize, and we agitate, because we must become like this, all of this fish together. You see that, guys? All the little fish make one big fish. And we take in that shark. Are you ready? Are you ready to take in the shark? Are you ready to devour the shark? And we can do it. We're going to keep showing this over and over. This thing moves me. This picture moves me. Guys, and you must share. You must like and share. So we're talking about this economic diversification and growth fund, and they come with all these big terminologies. It's really all about $225 million of our public money, our tax money. That's in the consolidated fund. And they are saying that they are going to allocate a total of $225 million from the consolidated fund, right? Our taxes and the loan money. So remember we were talking about the loan money, Barbados? Yes, they're going to take some of the loan money and some of our taxes, and over a 3-year period, they are going to, guess what they're going to do? They're going to send this to foreign companies. This is designed for foreign companies. To qualify for this money that they are claiming, they're going to disperse to qualifying companies to stimulate growth. They're going to convince us, these here in this government, this crookish government. This government who is like a shark, grabs everything out of our pockets, out of our purses, out of our pocketbooks, out of our bank accounts, out of our savings. Talking about they're going to take out $225 million. What about the money that they took out and out of the NIS and that they were going to invest it overseas? You all remember that? Have we ever even heard anything about it? Are these people mad? They are going to take out $225 million. We know nothing about this. They are excluding the local entrepreneurs. No public disclosure. Funds are prioritized for foreign companies, not Bajan businesses. What could go like that? In Jamaica, we say what could go so? Zero transparency and accountability. No public disclosure is required, Barbados. Aren't you sick and tired of this? Zero transparency and accountability. No public disclosure required. The government is not required to reveal who applies for the funds, who is approved, or how money is given to each entity. Huh? No measurement of results. There's no mechanism for public reporting on the outcomes of our $225 million. They mad or what? They mad? I am sick of this abuse. And sometimes you listen, you go on Facebook, I wonder why I even care. Why do we even care? Because others, all they're talking about is another 30 love, and this is what we're dealing with. Is it that we love abuse like this? Why we love so much abuse? Huh? If you look at number 4, they make it a little smaller so they could see green. The number 4. Thank you, Michelle, for putting this thing together for us. Thank you, Michelle. Minimum requirements for companies. The companies overseas that they're taking up the 220. The problem is no accountability. Inadequate due diligence. Companies are not required to provide financial statements. Shareholder information or proof they are in good standing in their home country. The devil is a liar. And they want to come and talk about they're going to call election, and Barbadians are going to go and put these back inside there. Oh my God. We are tired of you all. Huh? Vague commitment clause. Applicants only need to intend to engage in activity, a dangerously vague term that guarantees no real investment or action. Will it go the way of the NIS money? They dipped their hand in and they said they were going to invest. Mia Motley, where is the money that you said you were going to invest? Where is it? And why do you want to take up $225 million of our taxpayers' money and the money that in our name that you borrow to give your friends overseas? You think we're stupid? But look at the last one. Look at the last one on this thing. This is real animal farm, though. Huh? This is a real animal farm. I'm supposed to be enjoying my Christmas, and look at what they bring here. The minister is given improper and risky powers, unspecified ministerial authority. The bill allows the minister to enter into financial agreements, but fails to specify which minister holds this power. Is it the prime minister? Who is it? Which of those ministers? You could trust any of them? The power is legally questionable, as ministers should not sign financial contract for the state, creating significant room for political misuse and corruption. I cannot believe these people. I really cannot believe these people, though. I come on here to do my animal farm. I came on this evening to do our animal farm and so on. I've gone over in the time, today's show gonna be long because we're gonna finish everything we came on here to do. So people drink up your coffee. We're staying on long tonight. We've got business to deal with. This is serious. And this is gonna be finished and closed off by next week. Oh my gosh. $225 million. They're trying to convince us that they are going to send it overseas, and they're going to send it to companies, foreign companies, not Bajan businesses. They don't care about the citizens, and I am tired. I'm tired of them. And let me tell you, if it was in some place, they would tell them, quick, call the election. Think you're bad, call the election. But these here, y'all not serious. Y'all coming on here and talking about you're not voting. You come on here and talk about you're not voting. I keep telling you all, put a stick. Vote a stick in. Anybody other than these here, I tell you, go out and take a pencil. Take a pencil and do the thing. I tell you, do the thing that needs to be done in this country and send a message. And they will all get it. All of them, BD, Independent Party, they will get a message that Barbadians should not be taken for granted. We will not be taken for granted in this country. So at this point, we should not be talking about you're not voting. You realize how wicked these people are when a lot of people cannot read those bills. And then everything Mr. Thorne does, everybody tears him down. What if he's not in there explaining the bills? What will happen to us? Would you have even known about this today? If Miss Trisha Watson didn't put it on her Facebook page and send it around, would you know? If we did not bring it to you tonight, would you know? But you're going to sit down and let those people tear down people like us. You know why? They don't want us to tell you the truth. They don't want you to hear what is going on. The program is suspended till next year. Yes, Neon Star, no brass tacks till next year. This is why they don't want us to be in existence. They don't want the show. They do not want the show. They don't want it because we're not supposed to be here. But we are going all the way down. We're going to close off 22nd so we can finish up our little shopping and do good right by our families. And we go till Boxing Day, 23rd till Boxing Day, and the 27th we're back on here. We're not stopping. Yeah? If the people come together, they can even mend a crack in the sky. That's an African proverb. Yeah? If the people come together, they can even mend a crack in the sky. Yep, that's what I say. If the people don't make a decision for change, they will live with their consequences. We can do no more. There are some Bajans who like to be abused. This is abuse of power. Yeah? Brass tacks. Let me tell you something. They don't want this show, Matthew B. Because nobody pulling our strings, None. We stand with the people of Barbados. But they're going to come with this in Christmas. I knew it. Former Senator Gill said to me, Marcia, you can't come off early in December. And I told him, yes, you're right. We have to stay together in December. So we're going to come back to this, folks. But anywhere, we're going to put these up, and anywhere you see this, all of you who are on, it is important that you share it. You're going to see something like this, and you're going to see a video. When you see them, share them. That's all. Somebody went and researched. I spent today research and sent stuff to Michelle. Trisha Watson research. Mr. Thorne research. Everybody put something in this all here. Yeah. So we've got to be ready. Be ready. Yeah. How old were you when you discovered Santa wasn't real? Huh? Some of you take her as Santa Claus is sitting and waiting on the fete and the party and the food and the Grantleys. Huh? The Errol Barrows and the Grantleys. But how old were you when you discovered Santa wasn't real? Some of you still think Santa is real, and you're still waiting on her to bring goodies for you. Huh? You're still waiting on her. Some of you still happy about the 21 cents that you're getting per hour increase. Hmm? While you're gonna work till you're near 70. Huh? You're gonna work till you're near 70, but he think he's coming right now with Christmas gifts. Huh, Mr. Grinch? Barbados, this is time for all of us to wake up. We can't. You've got to wake up. You've got to wake up. I tell you, take the pencil. Take that pencil and do something with that pencil. Don't come on here now and at this 11th hour and say you're not voting. We need everybody involved. Send a message. Everybody will get the message. Everybody get the message. BD, independent, whatever you call them. Everybody get a message with the pencil. Use your pencil and send a message to them. They got to go. This is wrong. Not Christmas. Huh? Yeah. But let's get into thank you, Dave. And let's get into while he's doing that, he's setting up Animal Farm. But let me just welcome everybody. I know I didn't do that just yet. And the show is going all the way back. I know everybody who's on. I welcome you. I can't call your names tonight, but although I love to call your names, I can't call your names tonight, okay? But I have something special to tell you, and listen carefully. Are you listening? I'm giving you a few seconds to don't type, listen. Don't type, listen. Dave, this one has it seemed to have, this one has the thing on it. Yeah, I want to put up this one, but it seemed to have the timer on it. Yeah, it has a timer. This one, not this one. This one has a timer on it. Oh, it's hot. It's off. Okay, thank you very much. All right. So, folks, read what is on the screen. Read the bottom, the banner. I'm going to let you read the banner, and I'm going to let you read that banner at the bottom. I'm going to keep quiet and let you read the banner at the bottom. So, and it's free. It is free. I don't know if Dave can adjust that for me, please. It's free. It is free. It is free. So we're having a small little party with Dave and myself and some of the panelists, some of those who work with us, you know, to make everything happen. We have, and so we want to be a blessing to at least 10 of you. So if you are interested, in being part of what you want to attend, please give me a message. We're not going to put the address out there. Don't call. Let me see this person. Good night. Okay. All right. So what I want you to do, I wanted to WhatsApp message. Don't call. Just WhatsApp. Okay. Thank you. Just WhatsApp. Okay. So guys, you have to WhatsApp. Just message. Just message. All right. All right. All right. All right. Okay. So if you're interested, Viha, you can't come. You can't come. You are not in Barbados. All right. So message me via WhatsApp if you're interested in coming to the party. All right. If we have space for 10 viewers, right? One of these days when we have a lot of money, then we can have more. Okay. So we have space for 10 because we have our, you know, the regular people who you know, they help out a lot, etc. But anybody else, you have to message and said, I would like to be there. Then we will give you all the details. All right. Yeah. So let me know and we will give you all the details. All righty. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So Dave, we are going to go right now to and it's free. It is free. It is free. It is free. It is free. The party is free. Yes, Shirley, you're missing the party, and Vihoy is missing the party. You're all missing the party. Mr. Bob, check your phone for the link. You got the link really early today. That's why you don't see it. Yes. All right, Dave. Okay, Dave. We have to get going now. All right. So, folks, we are jumping right into chapter 2. Chapter 2 of Animal Farm. Right? Chapter 2 of Animal Farm. If Dave could put the picture up. And we're excited. We're going right into it. We're going right into it. So now this is, you know, I'm going to always give you a little summary of the chapter. Let me see the thumbs up if you did your homework. Who did their homework? Chapter 2. There's some people said, listen, Marcia, I read the whole book. I read the whole book already. Yeah. So I'm going to give you, while you're putting your thumbs up, I'm going to give you a little summary it's a Bajan Jamaican dialect, because you know I can't speak the Bajan too well. And you all are going to tease me. You're going to laugh at me. All right. And I might say words that as a Christian, I'm not supposed to say. And then you say I'm cursing. and I'm thinking I'm talking Bajan. All right, so I want you to listen along, but it's always better if you read the chapter before we study the chapter, and this is just a revision for you. All right, so let's do a little bit, talk a little bit in about the characters that we're going to hear of in chapter 2. Yes. Now you have Old Major. So Old Major is the wise old boar who got enough experience. He like, one elder who see how the whole system does run and warn the younger ones. That is Old Major. Old Major is full of vision, full of truth, and he does speak with authority. When he talk, the whole farm does listen. How is my Bajan? Snowball is a bright, energetic pig who always got big ideas. He's like the fellow who want to modernize things. He want to bring new technology, teach people, and uplift everybody. But he too trusting, and sometimes he don't really realize the power games that's happening around him. That is Snowball. Then you have Napoleon. Napoleon, you see, is quiet at first, but a bit dangerous. He's dangerously quiet. He don't talk too much, but he always planning, always scheming. He like a man who want power for himself. And he going to do anything, lie, trick, force, anything to get it. And then there is Squealer. Squealer is a smooth talking pig with sweet mouth. We know some of them around here with sweet mouth. He could convince you that rain is sunshine. He know how to twist words, spin a story, and make wrong look right. He is the propaganda man. That is your squealer for you. Yeah? So now let us do our little summary of chapter 2. So after Old Major dead, the whole farm did feel different. Like something start deep inside the animals and now waking up slow, slow. The pigs, being the sharpest among them, decide that Old Major words can't dead with he. So every single night when Mr. Jones knock out drunk, the animals sneak out and meet in the big barn to plan. Snowball whispering in an urgent tone, "Look, comrades, Major didn't talk foolishness. The man left we with truth. The time come now for we to organize proper. Napoleon, in a low control tone, he said, yes, but plans ain't enough. We need discipline. Jones ain't going to give up his power willingly. We got to be ready." Then here comes Squealer, slick and reassuring. Comrades, listen up. One don't understand how powerful one is. Once the revolution start, all are we gonna shine. Trust the leadership. The pigs start teaching every animal about philosophy of freedom. Snowball write big words on the barn wall. Napoleon trained secret small groups. Squealer, he does sweet talk any animal that start to doubt. Meanwhile, Mr. Jones slipping bad. The man drinking heavier than at a crop over lime. The farm run down. The animals hungry, and hunger does turn patience to fire. Hen, number one, nah, man, I can't take this no more. We're starving, and Jones don't even realize. They hear the cow. "Look how my bag dry. I can't even make milk good." Here comes Snowball. "Comrades, hold strong. The day is coming." Napoleon now eyeing Jones' house. He said, "The man slipping. Soon. One evening, Jones come home drunk again. Forget to feed the animals. When he finally stagger out with dry mash, the animals had enough. The hungry horse in a low growl. Nah, he can't treat we so. Then suddenly, rah! The animals rush upon Jones from every direction. The fowls flapping, the cows kicking, horse charging. Jones drop his bucket and run for his life. Mr. Jones is stumbling. Get back! Get back! But it was too late. The rebellion start without nobody planning it, like fire catch bush. Soon Jones gone. The farm quiet and the animals stand up in shock. Them realize Snowball, breathless joy. Comrades, we're free. Napoleon, calm but firm. The farmhouse, secure it, check everything. Squealer, his face like a politician ready for TV. This is a glorious day for Animal Farm. The revolution successful. The pigs lead the animals on a tour of the farmhouse. Snowball and Napoleon agree that nothing inside must be touched. Humans' ways must stay far from them. Snowball says, we must write down the principles, all animals equal. Napoleon turning away, almost smirking. Yes, equal. By nightfall, Snowball paint up the wall with the big white letters. Snowball reading proudly because only the pigs could read. Rule number one, whatever go upon two legs is enemy. Number two, whatever go upon four legs or got wings is friend. Number three, no animal shall wear clothes. Number four, no animal shall sleep in a bed. Number five, no animal shall drink alcohol. Number six, no animal shall kill another animal. Number seven, all animals is equal. Squealer grinning. Perfect, comrades. Perfect. We're ready for a new world. And with that, the animals settled down to the first night of freedom, not knowing that some animals was just beginning to taste power, and that power would soon taste sweeter than freedom itself. Well, that is chapter 2. Quite exciting. That is your chapter 2. And I'm seeing I have there there are two there are two gentlemen here to join me. Yes, Mr. Bob, welcome.
Good night to you, Marcy, and good night to the loyal opposition.
Yes, it's good to have you in this analysis here tonight. Mr.
Yes.
Adrian Hines, I would love to welcome you in. Are you ready? Wonderful, wonderful. Good night, Mr.
Good night,
Hines.
Adrian.
Hey, Owen. Good night. Good night, Marcia. Good night to the loyal opposition. Good to be here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How is it in cold Boston tonight?
Very cool. Very, very cool. It's coldness that I equate with February.
Mm,
So February is going to be very cold if this is what we're getting in December. Yeah,
yes. Yes, yes,
yeah.
yes, yes. Well, we are here. It's warm. It's warm. We got a little rain today, right, Mr. Bob?
A little, yeah, not much.
Not much, but we got a little rain.
And it's
So
windy. It's windy. Good night, Judith and Clark. Good night.
yes, yes. So
Yes.
we are going to jump right into our analysis of chapter 2. And I know somebody has music coming through. Yes. Thank you, Adrian.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um this chapter, I mean, the story is getting more and more exciting. So, for in the first chapter, they, he shared with them the idea and the vision of them, running the farm by themselves, right? And here in chapter two is when it became Animal Farm, because the revolution actually happened. And they chased the all the man was chased off. Mr. Jones, his wife, and everybody chased off the farm, and it's now Animal Farm. What are your thoughts, Mr.? Give us your general thoughts of this chapter, Mr. Bab.
But when I read it today, I got the impression that the pigs use their intelligence to grab hold of the situation that was presented to them.
Mm,
The rebellion had nothing to do with them. It just happened by accident. Happened. The people were angry, and they retaliated, and the pigs were able to seize the opportunity and claim the victory for themselves. Because right away you see the pigs taking charge. They didn't lead the rebel. It happened because the animals were angry. Who threw the first blow? Not a pig. It was the people. It were the other people. So you find
the other animals.
the other animals. So you find
Mm,
here, and if we relate it to what is happening, you find that leaders tend to grab the opportunity presented by when the people are frustrated, and then claim the victory for themselves.
mhm.
That's what I got from this chapter.
Yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes, yes. Let me hear from Mr. Hines. Mr. Hines, I know you want to hear for chapter one.
Yeah, yeah. So chapter two is the beginning of, as far as I'm concerned, I'll just get right to it. This is the beginning of 2018. Barbara Labor Party wins. Motleyism has taken over. Motleyism is animalism,
Mm-hmm,
right? They have taken over. The softening up of the people had started under Owen Alpha and continued with Mia Motley during the 10 years where she was using the angst of the people, magnifying it to the point where animalism, Motleyism,
mm-hmm,
could easily come in and take over. So that's what happened in 2018. And now they are in charge, right? So, I mean, there's a little bit more to that, but I just try to equate it to what we are seeing today. When they have their seven things, seven listings of what animalism is,
mm-hmm,
just think about Barbados Labour Party paraphernalia. Painting everything red. The big
mm-hmm.
billboards that they have during elections. The constant need for them to be in the media, to be seen and to be heard. Right. That is not speaking specifically to the seven parts of animalism, but it speaks
Yeah.
to a narrative, right? Which is what animalism is all about. So the,
Mm-hmm.
the the patterns are there as far as I'm concerned with how this Barbados Labour Party operates and how it mirrors what the pigs were doing with their ideology of animalism.
Yes, and very well said, both of you. And I'm hoping those in the comment section they're going to write what their views are, of the chapter, over their overall analysis of the chapter two. If you're just joining, we're looking at chapter two, where we see Old Major has now died. Okay, the death of Old Major, and we're seeing the birth of this new movement, animalism, right? And as Mr. Hines is suggesting that that's the start of 2018. Now here's a question. I mean, Old Major dies shortly after sharing his revolutionary speech. Has Barbados ever had leaders or movements whose ideas inspired change, or even after they were gone? Do we have? Can we name some of those leaders or movements that we believe that would have caused some kind of change to happen in Barbados even after they're gone? Can we do that, Mr.
Let's
Bab?
start. Let's start right at the beginning with the our Walton Borough and
Yes.
its socialist policies, which
Hmm.
affected
Well,
Um,
wouldn't that be a bit more democratic socialist
yes,
politics? Yeah,
democratic social, where he
democratic
affected
socialism. Yeah.
socialist, right, where he affected changes in education.
Hmm.
He
Hello.
affected changes in a positive way in the social fabric right across the landscape.
Hmm.
We became an independent nation under Arabaro. So those changes in were are long reaching, far reaching, even today, and we're still talking about them.
Hmm.
I will let
Hmm.
Heinz mention some more.
Hmm. Hmm. Anybody else, Mr. Hines, that you could think of?
No, I think, yeah, I think Al Bar is the only one that you can really talk about that had a speech or had a process about him that you can relate to laying a foundation for an entire country. I don't think any of the other prime ministers was that far reaching in terms of a philosophy that they were able to enact. I mean, there are many good things that happened under some of the other leaders, but in terms of setting a foundation and a pattern for an entire country, I can only think of Errol Barrow. Some
Mm,
people will challenge that and talk about Grantley Adams, but I recently did a small short narrative for someone who had asked me what does the L in DLP stands for, because people are beginning to realize that Labor in Barbados, they were part of the Democratic Labor Party, doesn't really say much, and they're true. It is true, and it just brings you back to the founding of the Barbados Labor Party and its association in relation to the workers through the workers' union, right? But what caused Arabar to move away from the Barbados Labour Party, of which he was a member, was the slow progress, as far as he was concerned, of bringing enfranchisement to the workers and to Black Barbadians in general. And that's why he moved away. So to a large extent, and not, yeah, it would take too long to go through the history of that breakup and stuff like that. But
mhm,
because of that, Alvaro was able, and having that philosophy and understanding and feeling the angst of the people wanting to progress beyond the slow approach that Grantley Adams had enacted. People gravitated towards that because they felt like they were going to actually achieve something, and in a large part, the country did. I mean, the things that Alvaro was able to do was just amazing.
yeah,
That's
really.
why when that's why when people can say that he took Barbados from being a village
Hmm.
into being a country, right?
Yeah.
And if you look at all the development he did, so yes, definitely that's the only person I can think of that
That you could
had
do.
a philosophy that he was able to that they were able to enact to the benefit of the large majority of Barbadians, and that's why his name still resonates with a lot of people today.
Yeah. And I totally agree with you, but I would also want to look at the 1937 riots and those people who laid down their lives. They
Mhm.
were fighting for better labor conditions, working conditions.
Mhm.
And we are seeing now a lot of the labor laws that this government has chosen to not even follow were because of these people who died, who went out and they were part of a rebellion because they were fighting for better working conditions. So we could also, talk about the 1937 rebellion leaders and those who were, some of those we call them freedom fighters too. I think that was a very important part in the history of Barbados.
Yeah, I mean, I have not. I like to do my own independent study of things. All that
Yeah.
I know of the 1930, be honest with you, of the 1937 riots is what I would have heard from other people, and I need to gather all of those thoughts and stuff and come to my
Yes.
own independent thoughts. So that's why I don't really want to talk about it at this point. But it's interesting that in 1937 the riots, the people were already agitated as a result of the 1937 riots, and the Barbados Labour Party was founded in 1938. So there was an opportunity for the leaders of that party to uh, ride on top of what the angst that was
Correct.
already in the public, right?
Mm-hmm.
So again, based on what is this, and this happens throughout history.
Yeah.
Politicians ever really start a movement, they always ride on top of something and then magnify it to their own
Magnify.
benefit, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
And this is like what has happened with the pigs.
yeah.
With here with old Major after he died, then they, they decided that they were going to now lead this revolution. And Mr. Grantley Adams, actually, I'm sorry about that. Grantley Adams, actually, he, for the 1937 riots, he really, I mean, he did not support those workers. When it came down to when the rubber met the road. I know you haven't studied it, but I've studied it very, very keenly.
Mhm.
The rubber met the road, and he was supposed to help Clement Plain. He did not, and that is one of the reasons when I came here and I read about Grantley Adams, I literally threw away the book. I was so angry. I was wondering what kind of he's like a black man with a white face. So I'm
I'm
serious.
sorry, I didn't mean to laugh.
No, but
Because
that's how it felt to me, with Bradley Adams. So you're right. So it is very, very much like what we saw happening when Major died. Here it is that Snowball and Napoleon, the pigs that remained, began to organize and have their secret meeting. And Bradley Adams went in there and started to, I guess, use, as you put it, to kind of use the momentum from
yeah,
the 1937 riots.
yeah, absolutely. In my view, right? I always start with something and then I try to prove it or disprove it. The old third grade approach to the scientific method, where you hypothesize about something, you make a statement, and then you research to prove it or disprove it. So I start with the hypothesis about Grantley Adams, that his personal life or his politics was influenced by his personal life. There's a black man married to a white woman, right? And the status quo in Barbados at the time was, the oligarchs and the elites were of a certain hue at that time, and pretty much that's what I believe is what led to his slow approach and bringing enfranchisements to black people, to the point where there were people who were saying, I don't really think he's about enfranchising black people. I just think he's about appeasing them, right, while maintaining the status quo, right? So that's how I see it, and that's how I frame the reason why Alvaro, who was impatient, wanted to move on and couldn't get through, and therefore he left and formed his own political party, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that. I just want to tie that part to what is currently the Barbados Labour Party today, right? A lot of people, and it's something I curate and I have out there, where the current leader of the Barbados Labour Party made a speech to the elders prior to the beginning the election in 2018, where she made this statement, and I take it out of context, and I do so deliberately, and I don't apologize for it either, where she says that the Barbados Labour Party is a party that understands that you cannot right 350 years of wrong in 10, 20, 30, or 40 years, that it is a continuum,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you fully understand what she's talking about, 340 years of slavery, of lack of adult suffrage and all that good stuff, where black people were barely making it, and the planter class and the plantocracy were doing well. That's what she was saying. And when she says 20, 30, 40 years, meaning that they're going to piecemeal through social democracy, tax the rich, and bring the poor along, right? That is part of the whole trickle down economic approach. It wasn't called trickle down at that time, but that's really what it is. You take a little bit from the rich, keeping the status as it is while appeasing the poor, right? So for she to be saying that in 2017, 2018, and actually her policies for the last 7 years demonstrates that, right? Harkens back to a time of 1938, Grantley Adams, and the reason why Alvaro left the Barbados Labour Party to form the Democratic Labour Party. You see?
Okay.
So that is, and people need to understand that what you're not seeing any progress today for the majority of Barbadians, because you have a Barbados Labour Party that mirrors the Barbados Labour Party under Grantley Adams. And the last part I would say to that, to demonstrate to people that that's what you have today, is that the Barbados Labour Party back then was tightly integrated with the idea of workers' unions. That's what they formed. They were part of the workers' union. And that today is why, at its core, why the leader of the Barbados Labour Party sought to bring back the concept of labor or workers' union into the Barbados Labour Party through co-opting the then or current General Secretary of the Barbados Workers' Union back into the Barbados Labour Party to complete the symbolism of here's the Barbados Labour Party back at its foundation where we were tightly integrated to the workers' union. That's all symbolic because we all know that what was occurring in 1938 with the Barbados Labour Party integrated with the workers' union was real. But today it's not real. The Barbados Workers Union isn't the one advocating or really involved in union advocacy. That's what Caswell Franklin does, not the Barbados Workers Union. So what we have is the symbolism of a Barbados Labour Party under Grantley Adams today hoodwinking people, but the reality is that the Barbados Labour Party is more business-centric, as they have always been. They've been, for the last part, they've been always associated with the plantocracy. Then after that, the merchant class, and now today, modern business people.
Yeah. Yes. And we're going to go right back to, well, we are talking about Animal Farm because we've seen, Mr. Bob, where this was all about the animals and their conditions. And here it is, the pigs. They capitalize on a situation, and we looking at history, it would appear that this is what that Grantley Adams did. That's what my belief is based on what I researched. But let's go back to these pigs as they began to organize. Okay, guys, if you could turn off your mics until you're ready to speak. Thank you so much. Right. So Snowball and Napoleon, we see that they're gathering and they're having secret meetings. Right. And it is in the secret meetings that they begin to develop the ideology of animalism, because they didn't come to the people and ask the people for the rules, right, Mr. Bob and Mr. Hines and viewers. They started to have secret meetings. The other animals don't fully understand, but they trust them because some of the animals, remember, the pigs were the only ones who could read, right? And sometimes, when you think of how political parties sometimes are formed, a lot of times it's behind closed doors, and then they come out with their, the ideology or their philosophy, not much consultation, public consultation. We're seeing a lot of hidden meetings. At the start of the show, I talked about even with this new bill that they're trying to push through, the Economic and Diversification and Growth Fund, right? This bill that they're pushing through. Most of us is the first we're hearing about it today, and a lot of times leaders shape ideology before the masses fully even understand what it means. So let's talk about whether we believe Barbados gets enough transparency when government makes big decisions. Can we come up with some examples of that, where government is making big decisions but there's no transparency? Even the viewers, anybody, go ahead, Mr. Bob.
Yes, but I want to go back to the secret meetings and draw some parallels. And you notice that when the rebellion occurred, they're dropping quietly. Oh, we were teaching ourselves to read. You see that? So they were adopting some of the same human traits, but they made no bones about it. Although they made a rule about no animal should behave like the human being. Yes, but they're not able to read like the human beings and slip it in. And then the secret activity and the secret meetings remind us of when we found out that this Labour Party was having talks with the IMF.
That's true.
Not only that, they have secret meetings with White Oaks. So those are the similarities that I picked up from
Can
there.
you go into a little bit more of that? Because there's some people, for some, they don't understand these things. They're not familiar. So you're saying that the party, the Barbados Labour Party, when they were in opposition, they
Yes,
had secret talks with the IMF, because I know of taxi men who told me that they were picking up these people from the airport, from the IMF and all of that,
mm-hmm.
bringing them to the opposition, at the time. And then you talked about White Oaks. Can you
That they
talk?
paid
Yeah,
millions of dollars. Yes,
explain more about that, please.
that White Oaks was used to, in terms of debt restructuring. A company with, I heard about two people in a room, no international background, no track record, but was paid by this government. Even before, and then we found out after the election had finished.
Yeah, interesting. That's why Adrian is saying that this is like 2018. When the pigs took over, it's like 20, we're in 2018. So these secret meetings were happening. The IMF, that's why the IMF could have come in so quickly. And the White Oaks, that, Castle Franklin is one of those who blew the whistle on White Oaks. Because they didn't have it, there were no credentials really. Seems like it's just, not a real company. But Mr. Hines, any thoughts about this, with how the pig started these secret meetings and etc.? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, of course. There's I have to say that there's the politics of election, and then there's the politics of governing,
Mm-hmm.
and there's often times where there's a complete distinction between the two.
Mm.
And if you're paying attention, it is easy to see the difference between the two. So this is par for the course, where they have said all that they had to say and do all that they had to do to buy into the people's confidence to get the vote. Then when they get in, the things that their true intent would come out, and that's what we are experiencing today, with this difference, in Animal Farm, don't speak, or don't be able to read or whatever, and while they're doing it, so they would tell you that, or accuse the last government of, doing corruption and all this other things, and when they get in, they're clear examples that they were or have done the very same things.
Yes, yes. When you think of the pigs as well, the pigs, as you said, they were the only ones who could read, because they taught themselves secretly how to read. They taught
Right.
themselves. And while isn't this amazing that while they were telling the other animals, we will not be like humans, they were writing the same rules. Do you see that, Adrian? And
Yep.
they were doing a human behavior by writing the rules on the walls, and the animals still did not get it. They didn't
Yep.
see what they were doing. They're saying, no, you're not supposed to do anything the humans do. But animals don't write. But they wrote 7 rules and read them. So they did 2 things. They wrote and they read. And the animals accepted it all. I don't think it, you think they realized, Adrian?
Say that who realized, the people, or
Do
are
you
you
think,
back to the
the animals realized that the pigs were actually reading and writing at the time they were doing it, just after the rebellion started?
No, and that's what happens. It takes a while for the uh, collective thoughts of a group to coalesce on what they're experiencing. It takes a little while for that to happen. So no, they would have been so into the promise of what animalism would bring to them that they would not have noticed that, right? And that's true to all the rhetoric that you would hear on a political platform, from a party that then wins the government, right? You're so
Mhm.
caught up and consumed with all those promises and the euphoria of victory that you don't notice the little nuanced things, and that's clearly what happened in 2018. One other thing and I know just going off a little on 2016, being in the opposition and doing things of the nature that Motley did with regards to meeting with the IMF and meeting with people out of Africa and stuff like that. It's clearly something that is done across these red parties in the Caribbean. Gonzalez is about to do the same thing, right? To operate as if he still has some kind of leadership, even though he's the opposition leader. And this is what Motley would have done, and this is what any of them will do. The same thing is happening in the PNN in Trinidad. Rowley is calling press meetings and making statements as if he's still in government. You know what I mean? And the PNM the PMP in Jamaica is doing a similar thing as well. So, and that's why I warn people that after you are being successful in defeating a red party, you have to be cognizant of their opposition politics as well.
Yes, because they're not accepting the defeat.
No, they're not. No.
They're not. Yeah, but as the story goes on here with Animal Farm, we realize that the rebellion happened sooner than the animals expected. Right. In the book, the rebellion isn't planned. Right, Mr. Jones. Basically, he's started to drink. And he's not feeding the animal. He neglects the animals for too long. And hunger is a serious thing. Sparks spontaneous uprising. When a man is hungry, anything will play. The animals chase him out. So let's talk about the Barbados parallel. And I want the viewers, can you get involved, please? I want this to be something that you answer. And I see Heather in our green room, and she's gonna let me know when she wants to come in. But the Barbados parallel, right? We're talking about uprisings, and that how real uprisings often happen, not because necessarily of politics, but a lot of times because of suffering. We just talked about the 1937 riots, was because the working conditions were horrible, inhumane. So a lot of times it's not because of politics. It's because of suffering. It's high cost of living, water outages, could be brown water, taxes on top of taxes, right? Long-standing frustration, right? It's really those are the things. And not all the time is ideology. A lot of times that it's not even that. It's really the frustration, the suffering. So here's the big question. And we're not going to answer it yet, Adrian, Mr. Hines, and I know Heather is going to think about it as she comes in. What do you think is the biggest pressure point in Barbados right now? What is that thing that might make people say enough is enough? What is that thing? I'm not even going to prompt you all. I want you to write that in the comment section. What do you think? What do you think is the biggest pressure point in Barbados right now? Don't write other things, people. Just answer the question. We're in class. What do you think is the biggest pressure point in Barbados? For the animals, it was that Mr. Jones just was not feeding them on time. He was drunk all the time, and he neglected the animals. Right? That thing that make people say enough is enough. What do you think it is? Or for you? Somebody said, Celia said cost of living.
That's it.
While they're writing, good night, Heather. Good night. Let me say
good night.
Good night, Heather. Good night.
Good night, Heather. Hi.
Good night.
We have another female in the room, Miss Heather Cole from the diaspora. It's a pleasure to have you on tonight, ma'am. And I suspect you did Animal Farm as a child as well, as a student.
I did do Animal Farm, yes.
Yes, wonderful. Well, people are writing in. They say cost of living. Somebody said taxes. Another said cost of living. Somebody says strange laws. And they say cost of living. Somebody said tax. Ooh, who I'm coming in through? Somebody is saying.
That was me. I'm sorry.
Okay. Um. All right. Yes. Anything else? We should be having more comments on this. Come on, the other night you guys were flooding with comments. What happened? When the authority neglect the people? Did you all see Judy Jokes?
That ties in with what Owen Alpha said that he's not going to use the known 3-letter word that's sitting on the people of Barbados.
Oh Lord of mercy. So we're reading them. Somebody said lies. Somebody said the NIS benefits for them. Lies and deception. Somebody said the cybercrime bill. Somebody said lack of transparency. Healthcare. Yeah. Anybody else? Working longer. Okay, the long years, the pension years. Yes. Borrowing and cost of living and taxes. Wow. Let me go to the panelists. I know two of you don't live in Barbados, right? But you have family here. So
Yes.
let me go to Mr. Bob, who lives here first, and then we're going to go to Heather and then Adrian. What do you think it is for Barbadians? What is the biggest pressure point in Barbados right now?
Cost of living.
Why you say that?
Because if you know Barbadians need to feel that they can provide for themselves and their family.
Mm-hmm.
They need to know, especially that when they go into the supermarket, that they come away with value for money. So therefore, when they cannot do that, the level of frustration that sets in. I know Barbadian mothers will never feel good having their children go to sleep hungry. They will bear the hunger first, so that their children will be comfortable. But when it affects if they can bear the hunger, but the hunger to satisfy the children, when it affects both of them, that's the level of frustration that will probably get them to get out there and to do something about what is happening. So is the cost of living in Barbados that is at the top of the list for me.
Cost of living, which we're going to be talking about in a few minutes. Ms. Cole, what do you think is the biggest? You're an economist, and I'm sure you're studying the economy of Barbados, studying the people of Barbados. What do you think is the biggest pressure point in Barbados right now? That thing that might make people say enough is enough. Okay, 1 second, 1 second. I muted you because there was some noise coming through. Just repeat what you said, ma'am.
I think I have a long response to your question, but yes, of course, it is the cost of living.
Cost of living.
And there are various factors which feed into the cost of living in Barbados. For example, the cost of imports are high, right? And then there is the high import duties that comes on top of the cost of imports. Then, so it makes consumer goods more expensive for everybody. And there is no reprieve from government for things like if you want to send a barrel to your relatives in Barbados, that is not VAT free. And then besides imports, it is housing. Rent has gone sky high. And then in addition to that, land tax and other various, like if you wish to pay insurance on your house. All of those feed into the cost of housing. And generally speaking, utilities and transport, the cost of transport in Barbados is expensive, and gasoline is costly. And you know that recently, I'm not sure when the local bus fare was raised, but that shows that there is a increase in costs, in transportation costs. So, and even things that should not carry VAT in the supermarket, although they say that there is a basket of goods for people that are exempt, those hardly, the impact of those are not felt by the population. So overall, and let's talk about eating. You have to get, remember I said imports. If you look specifically at imports, food is a big part of imports. And as we know, agriculture is not an emphasis of the government. So for example, you know, like, since you're from Jamaica, that's, you don't have to spend all of your money on food in the supermarket. You can grow a little something. You can grow many things in your backyard, but people in Barbados do not have that option. So part of the imports, besides being on goods, is on food. And I will stop there for now, and I'll pick it up
Yes, because
after. Yes.
yeah, what we'll do with a lot of that, we're going to break down in the cost of living section. So, but points, very good points. And again, guys, stay with us. We're going to go into cost of living. What do you think, Mr. Hines, would be that pressure point for Barbados? That's a question that we are dealing with. If you've just joined us, we're looking at chapter 2 of Animal Farm, and we are seeing where the animals, they have decided to rebel, and they've chased the humans off of the plantation, off of the off of the farm, and it's no longer manor farm, it is no animal farm. And so the big question is here, what do you think? It keeps coming off the screen, guys, I'm sorry. What do you think is the biggest pressure point in Barbados right now, the thing that might make people say enough is enough? So Adrian?
Yeah, like the other two. Yeah, the biggest point is cost of living. So all the other things then get noticed. People are frustrated. It's cost of living. What are you doing? And they're going to look at the other fiscal stress that they're under. But that's the biggest one: cost of living.
Cost of living. And I think that is what we saw um in, you know, a lot of people talk about the laws as well, but somebody said to also total disregard for the vulnerable. Somebody said the Barbados supermarket stressed me out. It stressed me out too, I know. Yeah. Yes. Okay. All right, folks, please like and share, like and share, like and share. I'm convinced, you know, that they've shadow banned us. I'm watching some things today, and I realize some things are wrong. So we really need you to share, to like and share, please, everybody. Please like and share, like and share, like and share. We are looking at um chapter 2 in Animal Farm. All right, so let's continue, as you continue to like and share. So let's look at this whole idea of the animals destroying the symbols of oppression. So in the book, in chapter 2, everybody, and which is important that you read the book so you can actually follow the animals. After they chased the humans from the farm, they destroyed all the symbols of oppression. They destroyed the whips, the chains, the knives. They burned them all. And the farm renames itself to Animal Farm. Let's look at some Barbados parallels, right? Barbados removing the Queen and becoming a republic. Can we link this to the animals removing all the symbols of oppression? So they removed the Queen. We even removed Nelson. Remember? Symbolic acts. We removed the titles and the medals and the ceremonies, right? Let's look at those symbolic acts versus actual change. Does changing the symbol change the situation? And so the big question we have here, did becoming a republic actually improve life for Barbadians, right? And then also let's look at some of the symbols that have been removed, the symbols of oppression. What are our thoughts on that? Any parallels that we want to talk about, and anything there that we believe that we moved the symbols, but we are still living under the oppression? Mr. Bob?
Yes. I just want to remind the listeners that there was much talk about the symbols associated with independence. Remember that discussion? Then
Yes.
they were planning to, and the question was asked, are they relevant now today? So we are really in a firm reality, because this government was talking about removing symbols, changing lines in the national anthem, even probably looking at the color of the flag itself. And the symbolic move to, because all is symbolic for me, um, getting Barbadians believe that we have moved away from the monarchy by becoming a republic, but yet today we're still without a republican constitution. So, and then we saw the chaos or apparent chaos when two senators offered their resignation, um, and there was much discussion about it. And when you don't have a constitution that guides you and guides those type of decisions, or what should be done if a sitting president resigns, what happens to those persons who are appointed in the Senate, then we have that kind of chaos and unsurety. So it is just the symbols, and nothing has changed really. We have not changed. Don't let me say that. We may have changed for the worse,
we
and that's
might
a
have
change too.
we might have changed for the words. Adrian, any of what do you think about the animals removing all the symbols of oppression, but really, as we are going to see in chapters following, where it didn't really, it was just symbolic, really.
Yeah, to me, it's not quite a parallel to what we see, but it's somewhat similar. Symbolism is big in this current BLP government. And for me, symbolism is just, I always try to differentiate between symbolism or symbols and the things the symbols represent. Because oftentimes people get so caught up in the symbols, they forget the idea of the representation. And there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that in the Barbados Labour Party. Take, for instance, the little coffin with that's supposed to have human remains in it. There were no human remains in it, right? And now they're using the term about sacred soil, right? Trying to symbolize or equate sacred soil to human remains, and then at least for people to deconstruct that because the symbolism doesn't match, because we've been trained to look more at the symbols of things rather than the reality. Republicanism is another one, right? If we had to deconstruct it to understand that what was done back in 2021 was all symbolic, no real change. Nothing has changed. If you're going to tell me that just changing the title of someone in a constitution, which is a document, makes us something that we weren't before, no, it's not that. No, that's just the symbolism of it. The reality of what it makes us a republic is something that we've been practicing for a while. And there are many other instances of it where the symbol of a thing is played up above and beyond the actual thing itself.
Yeah. So then, Heather, becoming a republic, really, it's just something symbolic. Then it hasn't really improved our lives. What are your thoughts on this discussion of symbolism?
My thoughts are that they were just cosmetic changes, like changes in terms of window dressing, sorry, that was done, but nothing really that would affect a person or the lower class, the lives of the lower class in Barbados. For example, the change to republicanism can only come about with a constitution and with a Republican constitution, and that was not done. So basically, we still have the Westminster system in operation in Barbados because fundamentally, the Republican system differs from the Westminster system in that we, the people, the impetus is on we, the people, who makes the decisions. And right now in Barbados, no group of people except the politicians can make laws or have input in any laws. There is no propositions that we can get into Parliament. There is no referendum by which the people can get anything done. So basically, what was done was strictly window dressing. We are still where we were before under the Westminster system with a few words change.
Wow.
Yes.
So it's just like what happened with the animals in Animal Farm, where they throw away the whips and the chains and the knives. They burned them. Actually, they even went as far as to change the name. But as we're going to see in chapters to come, nothing else really changed. And
Right.
we're seeing in this section, the first chapter, the first taste of power, the first taste of power. And I love what Adrian said earlier, that chapter 2 is like 2018. We're now at 2018, and this government is now in power, right? So they immediately assume leadership. In the book, it's the pigs, and we're not calling anybody pigs, okay? We're talking about the animals in the book. The pigs immediately assume leadership, right? They take the milk for themselves, right? And of course, they have Squealer there begin to justify the selfish behavior. Let's look at the Barbados connection. Let's look at the manifesto, the first act, politicians promising one thing and doing another right after elections. Do we have any examples of that? Viewers, this is your time. Type something in. What did you see? The BLP government, they told us but when they were in the opposition, that when we get in, this is what we're going to do. And once they tasted power, can you remember any promise that they made and they did another thing after elections? Because those first acts of any new government is very revealing, right? The most revealing. What are some of the benefits, the payments, the allowances, and any perks for leadership that was first and the people were put last? Do we have any examples of that? Do you think Barbados politicians put themselves first, or do they put the people first? Yeah. So let me hear the comments from the people. Somebody said pension. Ah. Okay, let me go up to the top. So they're looking at from the time they started in 2018. Let's read the chat. Adrian, you can read. Somebody help me read the chat there. Okay, no, Adrian. Okay. Pension. Somebody Mimi said integrity legislate. That was a big one. I mean, because they campaigned that they were anti-corruption. Do you all remember that? And the integrity
Yeah.
legislation was going to be passed. Oh my God! And how we read Animal Farm and we laugh at the animals, right? And look at us. So integrity legislation. What else they
Yeah.
have here? Yeah, go ahead,
A,
Adrian.
I know above pensions. I had written that they argued against a cabinet of 17 ministers, and they started with 29.
Okay, you had written that right somewhere
Yeah,
here. Yes,
yeah,
yes. So right, they said they said it was a bloated government, right?
yeah,
Bloated, and they almost doubled. The
yeah.
29 would have been 34. So just what, five less than doubling plus
They,
consultants.
they criticize the travel of the last prime minister. Check what we have now.
They actually criticized the travel. I didn't remember that.
Yes, yes. I can fully find the video. I can search for it. Big speech. Some of the things they could stay at home and do.
Wow.
I want you to tell. I'm going to address the milk, keeping the milk for
Before,
themselves.
yeah, hold a minute. Before you start that, let me
Mhm.
finish reading the comment from the people. Mimi said that they were going to lock up Mark Maloney. You remember that? Who remember that?
Yes,
Don't tell us. Go ahead.
over the this sidewalk thing culvert at Coverly, that where there was a lady that had an accident overturned, and I think her son died, and yeah, it was something to do with that. They're going to bring ministers in, or have lawyers. I think she has said she was going to get Abrams to look after the lady's legal situation. That never materialized either.
Never materialized. That they
Yeah,
used the woman's case situation
yeah.
as a
It was
political football.
Yeah, it was a case of anything that the then government did. They, sought to ask, how can we turn this into a political football, to our benefit and to their detriment, and that's what they did. Everything. I even remember that, sargassum. Nobody asked me about sargassum, but me made that a political football as well. You know, yeah, it was so ridiculous. It was like, oh my God,
You
you
remember when
know.
she, I mean, talking about sargassum, seaweed. This woman, I laughed so much at that time because it was silly.
Yeah.
She brought out the defense force to fight with these people. Who remember that?
Well, she remembered what she said, and somebody was going to remember what she said, so she gave it a good effort. That's
Not the
it. But
defense force. I
it,
mean, the seaweed is still with us.
that's what I'm saying. She should never have said it, but she was so eager. As I always say, everything she does is hot and sweaty. She was so eager to be seen as on top of everything that's happening in the country, that she made this bold statement that she can clean up all that. She made this down Barclays Park, down East Coast Road, at one of their plate of food sessions, where she just looked out and she saw the sarcasm coming in, and she made a statement about that in a negative way, or in a negative light against the then current government, that she's going to clean it up and stuff like that. So obviously, remembering that, yeah, she probably said, people are going to remember I said that, so let me try to do something about it. And the same thing with crime. The shooting that they had down Spring Garden under the Frondale Stewart administration. Made that into a big, big thing. They're going to do all this stuff, and when they get in, what do they say? They didn't take any, crime went up, and they didn't take any responsibility for it. All of a sudden, it became the responsibility of families and everybody else except them. So it's
Yeah.
Calling for the resignation of the then AG, and now you got a worse
yeah.
situation. This
Mhm.
one got what scot free. These people are sickening.
Yeah, I tell you,
And
it's so obvious the hypocrisy of Mayor
right.
Motley and her crew.
And don't
So
forget,
obvious.
it was also the Hilton Hotel. I think the previous government had wanted to sell it and they were against it. Remember, Mr. Comachon had a big song and dance about the Hilton Hotel and I guess the area
The Hilton,
on
no,
Hilton is Hyatt.
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 Sorry,
Yes,
Hyatt.
yes.
Hyatt, right.
It was
That
too big.
land,
It was too
right,
big. 15 stories. There's no 18
right.
stories, and he ain't saying a word.
That's the
Mm-hmm.
other word.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
that's all part of animalism that you can equate to Motleyism, because that's what it is. Where they say all these things. There's the politics of election. We're going to say whatever we have to say to get elected. Bajans got sharp memories. and then when we get in, we're going to govern the way we want to govern. Well, and that's they're beginning to realize that the short memory is being combated by social media. We no longer have short memory, so they're attacking that now. So creating situations that they're creating straw man situations, and then knocking them down, and then saying, "Here's an example of fake news on social media," to sensitize Barbadians to stay away from social media unless it's coming from the reputable, what they consider reputable media houses, which they've already bought off. So this is all part of how they will approach anything that will attack or seem to threaten their existence as the government. They're going to label it as negative, create strawman arguments to prove it, and hopefully sensitize Barbadians. Yeah, stay away from them, and don't go to them for news.
Yes. And Mr. Thank you so much, Mr. Bob. You were saying something there.
Yes, and the VAT that was supposed to be reduced
Mm-hmm.
is still at 17.5%.
Right.
And they're keeping the milk for themselves. Let me show you how they kept it.
Yeah, go ahead.
One instance, who benefited from the write-off of taxes first when they got in? People need to go back and see.
Father.
Oh wow.
Mhm.
What do you mean? Oh yes. The tax Caswell showed us the taxes that were owed. So there are lots of people who are some people had relatives that benefited, and friends
Yeah.
and families. Um, they benefited from the write-off of taxes owed.
Keeping the milk,
Wow.
kept the milk for themselves.
Mm.
As they always do, as they always do.
Yeah. But I wrote down everything here that we have, and I'm gonna put it out. There's so many things to do, but I'll get somebody to help me. Freedom of Information Act. They promised that, right? And we didn't see, as they tasted power, all of those things went. This is once they came into power in 2018. The seaweed, that they were going to eradicate the seaweed. The other party was not doing. The government, the government was just not doing what they were supposed to be doing, relating to that seaweed that they were going to. Right now, sometimes it's so stink we can smell it from where I live. The integrity in public life legislation not proclaimed. The number of ministers, they said that the other party had too many, other government too many. That pension, the decrease. They said they're going to decrease the VAT. They're going to lower the VAT. They're going to lower cost of living. They had a big song and dance about the Hyatt Hotel, and we would have thought that it would never be going up. And they took the land from Miss Ram, and they're putting up the Hyatt Hotel. The travel of the last PM was a big issue. Was the PM when they were in opposition? This is up front of Stewart, and now we hardly see Miss Motley.
Right.
They're gonna lock up Maloney. People like Maloney, Mark Maloney, and her. No, it's M&M, Mark and Mark, Maloney and Motley, M&M. Like
Yeah.
the M&Ms. That they're so close. Maloney, they nobody locked up. The other day she was hugging up Lashley. Lashley was supposed to be locked up. Chris Sinclair was supposed to be locked up as well. Yeah.
Didn't they say that they were that members of the Democratic Party should never be seen in politics again?
Yes.
Yes.
All of a sudden they
yes. You want to see them.
yeah, all of a sudden now some of these people are members of the Barbados Labour Party.
Listen, they do this.
I tell you,
they do a number on Barbadians in 2018 and 2022. We should
oh
not
my goodness.
took us as fools. They took the Barbadians' frustration and use it against them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Them lies.
I have never seen an opposition party talk up such a storm to the level. And the funny thing, I said this, everybody who listens or likes politics, to some extent, knew that the Barbados Labour Party was going to win, right?
Yeah.
And from what I understand is that she knew she was going to win, but she wanted to win every seat.
Yeah.
She wanted, and that's why she did what she did. She did a lot of driving around that 2018 election too. Did a lot of driving around. That's all I would say about that. And I've never seen that before, but that's the nature of the beast, where it's their way or no way.
Yeah. Yeah, go right ahead, Heather.
Can we also add to the cost of living, the increase in cost of living? Can we also address inflation? When in 2018? In 2018, right? Inflation in Barbados was 3.7%. And the Democratic Labour Party was in power then. I don't have the figures for 2019 or 2020, but in 2023, inflation had risen to 9.79%, right? Which is a steep jump. And today in 2025, the cost of living has increased well over above what it was in 2023. And the central bank is claiming that inflation in Barbados this is in August 2025, that inflation is at 1.2%. So that is impossible, because you cannot have everybody on the ground knows that inflation has risen. You can look at gas, you can look at food, housing, transportation. The prices of everything has increased. So there is technically no way that inflation in Barbados could be 1.2%. It cannot be the truth. It can't happen. That's not the way how it is measured. Whatever figures they are using to get this figure is wrong. It is simply not correct. So if you look at the other, something that feeds into this, technically, remember, the government has increased the minimum wage by, let's say, the 2%, right, which translates into the 21 cents onto the wages of the people who are bottom. If the cost of living is so high, right, it could probably be 14%. That's what I estimate that it is, because if it was 9, almost 10 in 2023, it could be near 14 or 15% now. And if you give somebody a 2% increase, right, which translates to 21 cents, that still leaves them under receiving a living wage. So this 21 cent increase that the minister thinks that will add a piece of fish or chicken to a person's meal is totally non-existent. So technically, the government has done nothing with that 2% rate increase for the people at the bottom. Absolutely nothing.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Well, folks, if you're just joining, we are just closing off our chapter 2 of Animal Farm, and we're going to go right into cost of living. We're looking at that because you all said that was the major pressure point in Barbados, and what we're doing, we're looking at our grade card, and I think Dave still has that. And if he can put that up on the screen now, Dave, the grade card, and then we're going to go to the PowerPoint. We're going to go through it together. So we're looking at the lowering the cost of living, right? Because that was something that they said that they were going to do, and we are going to give them a grade.
Yes, Marcia. Before you go on, they said,
yes.
Remember, I want the people to remember that they made it out they made it a song and dance about the NSRL, and once that was removed, the cost of living would have gone down. Remember, that was the NSRL. The NSRL removal was supposed to bring down cost of living. That was what was told to people in Barbados in 2018. But look
Yes.
at what it was. Look today what it is actually.
Yes. 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 Interesting. Interesting. Well, here's a big question. Here's a big question that we're going to ask, and then close off this section of the book, of chapter 2, right? So chapter 2 teaches us that revolutions fail when the people stop paying attention. The animals, they stopped paying attention. They were focused on the humans. The humans are gone. The pigs now were in charge, and they stopped paying attention because they're so happy that the pigs are gone. It's exactly what happened in 2018, right? We said to everybody, "Oh, we got rid of them. They should never be back in politics again."
Yep, the
No,
humans have
never.
ended, yeah, the
Huh?
DLP.
Huh?
No, you said they were so happy the pigs were gone, but you meant the
I'm
humans
sorry,
were
the
gone.
humans. I'm sorry, the humans were gone. And it's the same thing that happened to us in 2018. We were so busy, so happy that we stopped looking, right? We stopped paying attention,
Hmm.
because no movement is safe from corruption.
Right.
Leaders must always be watched. These are
Yep.
some key takeaways for Barbados. Listen, Barbados, the leaders must always be watched. If any party goes in, if you vote out these and the others go in, you must always watch them, right? A new era does not guarantee fairness. And we, as a people, as Barbadians, we must stay informed, alert, and unified. Anything else? Any
Yep.
other lessons we can take away from chapter 2 that Barbados should take seriously going into 2026 and 2027? What lessons from chapter 2 should Barbadians take seriously going into 2026 and 2027? I didn't
That
mention. Yeah.
just to add on what you were saying about losing focus or shifting focus, we were so using the humans as to be the DLP and the pigs to be the Barbados Labour Party. Once the Barbados Labour Party, the pigs take over. We stopped focusing on Barbadians did, and they were encouraged to do that by the media in
Uh-huh.
Barbados. They were encouraged to do that by the media. Not look at who's governing now, but to continue to look at who's out of government, right? To the point where they attempt to change the narrative or the cultural approach of Barbadians when it comes to elections. Barbadians have traditionally viewed a government at election time as to whether they're going to keep them or whether they're going to kick them to the curb. It was always that. The focus was always on the government. Whether you did a good job or a bad job. But the narrative now coming out of the media, and in particular certain media people, is to focus on the people coming that wants to come in if we kick out the people that are in. And I'm like, what sort of confusion is this? What sort of complexity is that? So the media is complicit in encouraging Barbadians to no longer focus on who's governing, but who was governing. It's pretty much the same thing that was happening in Animal Farm, where they thought that they have gotten rid of their problems, not realizing that the problem was leadership. And that's where you need to look at who's in it.
Mm-hmm. Wow, powerful. Anything else, Mr. Bob, you want to add to that?
Yes, I want our people to be able to spot manipulation.
Spot
Yeah.
Recognize
manipulation.
spot, yes. Recognize when leaders prioritize power over
Mm,
service.
Yeah.
Demand accountability and stay engaged and get
Yeah.
involved in voting to counter
And
these
you,
and
yeah.
counter these uncontrolled tendencies.
I didn't hear you,
And
Mr. Bob. I didn't hear him. Finish
Stay
what
in, stay engaged, like participating in voting to counter control tendencies, the control tendencies that we are seeing now.
Wow, excellent,
right.
excellent,
And
guys.
you and Barbadians can stay focused on those things by keeping it personal. Remember, as a citizen of Barbados, you are entitled to benefit to some degree from being a citizen of Barbados. if you are constantly being called on by the government to tighten your belt, to stay the course with us, and all that talk, while them driving around in the Benz, and you still got to catch the taxi, right? You got to ask yourself what's
private jets.
And flying in private jets. You got to ask yourself, what's in this for me? It is time, and it's okay to be selfish in that regard. There's got to be something in it for me. If there's not in it for me, then you are not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be doing this for all of us, but it seems like it's only for a few. So therefore, you got to go so somebody else can come in and try to enfranchise a larger majority of us. So it's okay, Barbadians, to say to yourself when you go to the polls, this current iteration with this current government, are they working in my interest? Is my garbage being collected? Can I catch a bus? Are the supermarkets fully stocked at prices that I can afford? Are wages going to consume it with prices? If these things are not happening, this is what a government is charged with. So that means they got to go. Give somebody else an opportunity. And when they come in it and they don't do this, use the same scorecard. At the end of 5 years, no matter who it is, use the same scorecard. Has my life improved? Why hasn't my life improved? Is it partially their responsibility? And if that's the case, what is the other people saying? Bring them in and give them an opportunity to do the same thing. So that's it. Be personal when it comes to your vote. Don't worry about what other people and what is in their importance or is important for them. It's about you as an individual.
Yeah. Heather, some real quick one, so we can
Okay.
move on because I know you have to leave soon.
What I would say is that all Barbadians should become fearless, demand representation, and just remember that the people elect the government to represent them, not to represent themselves. That's something that I think wrong. I think that we see, and it is government. We have the government up there and the people down here. We seem to be satisfied with them doing whatever they want, and they do it for themselves, and they forget the people when they get into power. So there's certain things that we need to eliminate as people. So first of all, you have to stand firm. Don't let the government walk all over us as they are doing now. You have to be a patriot, a true citizen, or a true person who has Barbados in esteem and demand that it be kept that way, not let the government drag us down to nothing. Because technically this is what this government is doing. Because people are not surviving. They're barely making it. So we need to do better. So I want the voters out there, the ones who are listening, I want them to be encouraged and to encourage other people to examine exactly what this government is doing, and what it is doing is not in their interest, and they must only vote for their interests, not along party lines. We have to put that to rest.
Yes, very well said. Very well said. Wow, man, I tell you, the panel is ticking tonight. And so, guys, that's the end of it for us for chapter 2. We don't have much more time because we had to take the first part of the show to basically tell you what the government is trying to do while you're buying your curtains and your ham and well, not forget the ham. A lot of us can't buy the ham this year, but all the different things we're trying to do to make our family, happy and so on, going into that period of merriment, and they are seeking to send $25 million out of Barbados to businesses outside, foreign companies. And we don't know anything about it, so we use the first 20-25 minutes to do that, and hopefully we can touch on it a little later. Let me just say, as we close off this animal farm segment, that I made an error last time, and I said that it was about England, and it's not about England. It's about Russia and the rule of Stalin. Okay, so I just wanted to make that correction. It's about about Russia and the rule of Stalin. Okay, and it can be used for us, for right now. All right, folks. Well, we are going to go into grading. We're busy tonight, This is a busy show. We're busy, busy, busy. Have you shared yet? Have you shared yet? We're going into another segment. And the big question is, have you shared yet? Have you shared? Did you share the link in your WhatsApp? Is a link shared in your WhatsApp, Facebook? Have you shared the link as yet? That's the big question. Yes? All right. So Dave, if we could get to the cost of living, that's what we're going to look at now. And some of what we're going to talk about, we would have touched on it, as we were dealing with Animal Farm, right? The big question is, are we better off? Are you better off 2018 to 2025? Are you better off? We had a poll that was going. I don't know if Mr. Bob can check the poll for me, please, and to tell me how that is doing. You can write it in the comment section. Thank you, Mr. Bob. Write it in the comment section what the poll is doing. We sent out a poll today, and in the poll we were asking, are you better off 2018 to 2025? Are you better off? That's what they promised us. A better, I think it was a better tomorrow or something like that. They promised us a better life. Is your life better? Somebody said no, no, we are not. Well, you didn't. Somebody said I'm worse off. Worse off. Come on, put something in the comment section. Well, did you find it, Mr. Bob? What is the percentage in the poll? Anybody knows? Somebody said no, the average Bajan is sucking salt. No.
So far, 93%. So far, 93% is saying no, 8% saying yes.
Right. So right now, 93% from the poll that we did from this morning, 93% of Barbadians are saying no. Their life is not better off. They're not better off. Somebody said that they didn't see the poll. I don't know if Mr. Bob can put the link in the chat for us in the comment section. Somebody says I'm paying too much in the supermarkets. No, I was better off under the DLP. Somebody else said they didn't see the polls. Somebody said, no, I am suffering. Bajans worse off than before. Okay, so people are responding. They can't get any money saved. Even the tourists are complaining. Too much taxes. Yes, okay. All right. The cost of living crisis in Barbados. So what we're going to do, panelists and viewers, we are going to go through what we have here. And as we're going through, then we're going to make our comments. And I will say that we're going to let people call in as well. This is about you. So if you see anything on the screen and you want to talk about it, it has to be about cost of living, though. We're not changing the subject. Somebody living from paycheck to paycheck. You see what I mean? You have to pay attention to what they're saying, Heather. Somebody says, I want back those glorious days. It is expensive to afford healthy foods in the supermarket. Living from paycheck to paycheck. Frightened to go to the supermarket. You're right. People are can't afford the basics. Wow. Wow. Mm, I tell you. Oh boy. So guys, get ready to call in about cost of living. This is the only I gonna cut you off. If it's not cost of living, we ain't talking about it on the phone tonight. We're sticking to the one topic, right? Who's paying?
Marcia,
Yeah.
as well as the cost of living, I think that we are seeing a bigger emergence of a class of people called the working poor.
Mm.
That number has swelled tremendously.
The working poor. So I think it was Caswell or somebody use that terminology on here. They're working, but really can't. It basically just working. Sometimes by Friday they don't have bus fare. You know, yeah. Understanding the real impact of rising prices on everyday Bajans, and we're evaluating government promises versus reality. The next slide, Dave. Thank you. Why cost of living matters to voters. High prices affect housing. Heather, this is what you were talking about. Food, healthcare, mental health, family stability, and migration. Voters feel these pressures daily. Heather, a quick comment on that. This is what you were speaking of. Unmute your mic.
It is unmute. Right now in the Barbados, there are two countries in the Caribbean with high costs, and it's Barbados and the Bahamas. But in most, I would say, in most aspects, um, in Bahamas, the Bahamas are closer to the US. So the cost of their consumption goods are not as expensive as compared to Barbados. However, generally speaking, everything in Barbados has a high value attached to it. There is nothing that Barbados has that is cheap that we can say that there's a trade-off. For example, we can't say that healthcare is not expensive, so we wouldn't mind food being high or something like that. But there is no trade-off. And if you remember when I started, I said that, for example, in Jamaica, a lot of people have land to have kitchen gardens, and they grow a lot of their provisions. So they will not necessarily have to spend all of their money at the supermarket. But in Barbados, that is not the case. There's hardly any land, and there's hardly any land for the poor people to cultivate, to grow their own foods. And agriculture is not an emphasis of this government. I do not know why that one has actually struck with me for years now, why the government of Barbados has not invested in agriculture. And so it seems to be part of their plan to assist or to help the merchants become more profitable. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah. But all of these things, mental health, it's a big issue. So that's why the cost of living matters. And I want everybody pay attention here, folks. Pay attention here. Mental health. A lot of our people, they're walking around, but they're not. All is not well.
You
You
got
see,
that right.
people passing here. They're just talking to themselves. Things are tough in this country. Very, very hard. Hear people saying they have to be putting back different things on the shelf. Sometimes you see groceries, people at the grocery when they line up to get to the grocery, they're nervous because they don't know you have to be eating substandard in a substandard food. It's not because you don't know what you're to eat, but your health care. Is
But Marcia, what is hypocritical too? That we will have an education minister and a ministry pontificating every week on the news about um this healthy eating for school children. Let me tell about the school meals and what I see
Because
and what I heard.
you're a teacher. You're a teacher.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell them to control the salt content in the food. The children are complaining about it.
Salt. The children are saying the food is too salty.
Yes, some foods are too salty. If you want
Wow.
us to help, if you're talking about food and eating healthy, you should be providing fruit every day with your meals.
Mm.
You should provide vegetables every day with the meals. But you know what? They can't do that because to provide those type of meals for the school meal service to give to school children will be an exorbitant cost to the government. So they're saying, "Oh, we're gonna stop the vendors because they're selling junk," but you're not doing it. The poor people can't buy those foods that we claim are that we decide that are more healthy than what we're getting, and you're making the song the dance as if the vendors in Barbados are to blame for for the health content of the food in the supermarkets.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Unhealthy
Mr.
school meals. Let me get Mr. Hines in there quickly, and then we have to move to the next slide. Go ahead, Mr. Hines.
Yeah, all I would add to that is what we've been saying all along. This is a government that takes no responsibility for the negatives, right? Only the positives. So, and it's a long established understanding that a government that can do no wrong really does nothing, and that's what we're having today.
Yeah, yeah. Somebody
Mr.
says
Bab,
yes. Go right ahead.
what do the meals look like? The school meals.
Sometimes you
What do
get
they have?
something you get pilau, sometimes you get tuna and sometimes you get bread. Um, it's the basic thing that we would give in a home. A boy will cook in my home, or boy will cook as a person that poor that whip up something quick.
Wow, I see.
There's no difference in what you're getting. And I'm saying that if you're in a school system, you're so concerned. Why can't we at this stage have fruit taken to all schools in Barbados? Why can't we have vegetables? Huh? That content.
Yeah. Somebody says
But
it
you know what?
sounds
Because
like
it's
tea.
expensive.
Go ahead.
So wait, Mr. Bobby, you're saying that because I remember having school meals and school meals. I mean, when I was young, I didn't fully understand it, but as I got older and I reflect back on what I got, we got um, I would consider it first class meals in terms of a starch, a vegetable, and a protein. I
But
didn't
you know,
understand it back then, but that's what I used to get. I would clearly remember it was, as a matter of fact, I used to say it was too, the quantities were too small, but the food always tastes good. And it was per standards today, starch,
it is not like
vegetable,
before.
protein.
It is not like
Really?
before.
Wow. Wow.
It's not like, and the reason why they can't afford the same things that they're talking about, that the ordinary man in the street is having difficulty, this government is not prepared to step up
Wow.
and assist in those areas.
I used to brag about that at school meets because there's some people up here that believe when I was growing up in the '70s, that Barbados was a backwater kind of place, and I was like, I don't think so. And I explained to them, hey, look, I went to school, we had hot meals, not the crap that y'all serve in the schools down here, right? So I used to brag about that. And I was very proud of it, but to hear now that that standard has not been kept is kind of disheartening.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and it's really because of what is happening in the country. Things are just hard everywhere we turn, but yet still we are telling parents they can't let the children buy the cheap snacks on the road, right? But so it matters. Mental health, we're gonna have a lot, housing, so many things. But Dave, let's go to the next slide. Time is against us. The everyday reality versus our wages. There's a fight, Heather. There's literally a fist fight that is going on with our everyday reality and our wages. Many Bajans spend $1,200 to $1,600 on rent. We're talking minimum, right, Mr. Bob? About
Yes,
that?
yes, 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 yes.
Yeah,
Of
right?
course,
Minimum
a
wage
one
for
barrel could cost it about $1,000. No, for a couple of years it was 850 for one barrel.
mm, wow. Wow. Many Bajans, minimum wage workers struggle because they have to cover food, they have to cover utilities and transport, and they have to cover their rent. So a lot of them tell me, Adrian, once the rent is gone, out of the money, it's gone. So the disposable income is shrinking. And this Christmas, I'm not a prophet of doom and gloom. And I see Prophet Apostle Canterbury there. I think he's having some difficulty getting in, but he's coming in soon. But really and truly, what's going to happen this Christmas? You're going to see a lot of robberies. That's going to happen this Christmas. I hate to have to say that, but that's what it is, because the disposable income is shrinking. The people can't afford it, and they want the ham, and they want the different things, and so then people then still look at this family. That's how they sit down. You're trying to stretch. After most people are, it's done.
Mhm.
It can't meet the reality, your everyday reality, and the wages. They're having a fist fight. They're meeting up, and somebody winning. Next slide, Dave. Boy, this show gonna go on late tonight to hear what they tell us, because we have Apostle Canterbury, and he's gonna come and talk about that ritual that happened in Ghana, which is very important. So we have a long show tonight. I sorry for you all, but we're not coming off till we finish.
This is Christmas.
Barbados, it's Christmas.
The big-
Barbados, and yes, and we realize that the MPs, you see all those ministers working, that they could be trying to slip through a bill on us, so we can't sleep. Barbados cost of living snapshot. So everybody, come on, think now, don't write now. Look at this. Look at it. Let me make it bigger. Everybody, look at this. Is cool, Take a snapshot of this, and you can share this with your family. Thank you, Michelle, for doing this up for me. Thanks, Michelle. Barbados cost of living snapshot. The average monthly cost breakdown. Rent, we said, with 1,200 to 2,500, can go up to that. 100 to 2,800 a month, depending on how many people in your family and what you eating. Utilities between 80 to 280, and that's even low. Well, it's a bit more than that. Internet or phone, 80 to 300. You think these numbers are right, folks? You can always put it in. Are we right with these numbers? Insurance, whether it's a car or whatever, if you have unless you have a house, insurance 150 to 950, and then you might have student loans, right? It's there. Anybody type in the chat and let me know if these numbers are good, right? Look at the pie chart here on the left,
Mm.
right? Look, the large 39.9% of our average income of our monthly cost is food. The average monthly cost,
Marcia,
yes,
there's no transportation there.
there's not even transportation there. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Heather. Wow, we didn't even put transportation. We didn't put transportation on this. How much would we put for transportation, viewers? Listen, we thank you, Heather. No transportation. It's good to have an economist on here. Anybody else? Anything else? Somebody
VR
said with
said personal needs. Yes.
personal needs not added. So this is very basic. Yeah. And then rent is the next big chunk of the pie there in the light orange. You see that? 33.3% is rent. 39.9%, almost 40% of our average monthly cost is food. And then we might have a loan or student loan. There's insurance, there's internet, and the utilities. right? If they have kids, then there's daycare. Lord have mercy. Oh, wow.
People survive in Barbados.
Oh, my God. Somebody say $84 a bus fare per week. So let's do the math on that quickly. Anybody have a calculator? 84 times 4. That's 336 for bus fare. And wow. Wow. Oh my gosh. This is tough, you know. This is tough. All right. Let's move it, Dave. Everybody, you can go ahead and take this if you want. You can take this snapshot of it if you want. Okay, let's go to the next one. Why budgets are tight? Why are family budgets tight? Personal budgets tight? The costs, they're rising faster than the wages. That's what you were talking about, Heather, there with the inflation.
Mhm.
And so we are seeing that the central bank, Mr. Bob, they're trying to tell us, they want to tell us what we're experiencing. The central bank governor is basically telling us we're not experiencing this, Mr. Hines. We are living.
Put on skits on TV at night. So,
Met- metric is a trip. This is the problem that we always have when we take, we celebrate him as a guy that came out of Deacon's Farm and look what he's doing now. He risen to the heights of whatever, and oftentimes when we get people that come from that low down up, I'm not criticizing it, but it's really nothing to celebrate. We got to look and see what they are about. And this guy, from what I see, he is enjoying life at the top to the
Yes.
point where it is very clear he ain't ready to look at nobody down there. He doesn't care. I mean, I go back to that interview he gave when the Jamaican journalist, I believe that works with Barbados today, I believe. I can't remember, but she's Jamaican. I know that fact. And she made the comparison that I said needs to be made. She says, people on the ground, you have these lofty statistics, but people on the ground are not seeing it. And he paused and he says, when he drive around, he's seeing all this construction. Or she said, it's not feeding down to the people. He says he see all this construction, and it is not. He can't believe that with all of this activity going on in the economy, that it is not coming all the way down to the people. That's trickle-down economics, a discounted economic concept as far as it has never worked. But that's what he's saying, that he believes in all of this activity that he's eyeballing, that he's seeing that the people at the bottom must be getting some of it. Didn't say definitively. And he's never, ever talked about economics. Maybe that's not his job. He's the governor of the central bank, and he just needs to talk about the figures. But the problem with that, and this is the last part, the problem with that is when he comes out and he says that unemployment in Barbados is at 6%. And then Mia Motley echoes that on a political platform, as in their annual general meeting. That's a political platform. She's bragging about it. But it is wrong. Everybody understands it's wrong in economic terms to only mention, yes, this particular one. You guys want to play it?
Let's see if Dave can play it. Guys, I think even if we don't finish this tonight, we will go back. We will have to pick it up Sunday. But this is too important to rush. I think, Heinz. Let's go. Play it, Dave. Thank you.
So we've heard the reports of growth and we've heard the projections, but some may argue that this growth is not being translated or being manifested in the lives of ordinary Barbadians. Governor, are you confident that ordinary Barbadians are feeling the impact of this growth? And also, what is being done or what can be done to address this public perception?
So I've heard this question many times, and we've had many times. Growth, inclusive growth, development, It's a process whereby we continue to build out a social component of it. So what I've seen, based on being on the ground, moving around, is that it's happening. You look at the social program, it's expanding. Elderly to vulnerable groups.
And those funds that service the Barbados Labour Party, we are all going to be in trouble. Don't go to march and let the government see, and let the government get away with this. When you're then looking for a pension, like Lombie used to say, "Papo smoke the pipe."
Where did that money go?
Also, you want indication of how people, that things improve in persons. Look around and see how many residential properties persons are putting up, how many additions persons embarking on, adding on this to their homes, expanding. And just, let's be real, economics is being real. Look at life. You see an event in Barbados not supported, worse than it seems?
Barbados! It's a joy to be here. Happy Easter! And for the ladies?
Well, that's in fact that person's better. It may not appear so, but have more disposable income.
In my line of work, you got to keep repeating things over and over and over again to kind of catapult the propaganda.
The benefits of your growth is trickling down. So a person now getting to enjoy themselves and spending, and you see it. It's almost impossible to have 15 consecutive quarters of growth, and it's not trickling down.
Barbados Economic Recovery and Transformation Program, BERT 3.0. It is puzzling that the administration would initiate another economic program with the word recovery in the title when the public is told repeatedly by Dr. Kevin Greenidge and others that the economy is fully recovered from the slump during the pandemic, is robust and resilient, and on a sustainable growth path. Former Member of Parliament Anthony Wood.
If you look around, you see all the construction and employment happening. You look up there by Chase, all this construction persons are getting employed. Why they're getting paid? They're spending the money, they're feeding families, they're enjoying themselves. It is trickling down.
The developers called it a strategic day for the stakeholders.
Oh, yeah.
As they launched 2 developments.
If the economy recovered so well, why do you need another BERT? Did the Barbadian income levels and standard of living, especially among the poor and powerless, rise significantly? Did the quality and quantity of social goods improve significantly under the 2 BERTs? Did the cost of living fall significantly under the 2 BERTs? If the economy achieved excellent results, Dr. Greenidge, simple logic would tell you that we should not need a 3rd Barbados recovery plan. BERT 3. Perhaps simple logic does not exist, Dr. Greenidge. Retired Professor UWI Michael Howard.
Increasing in terms of credit growth, loans continue to go down to all-time low.
Professor Don Marshall has issued a sharp rebuke of the country's economic direction, charging that successive IMF-backed reforms have prioritized fiscal performance over true economic transformation. He contends that while authorities celebrate macroeconomic stability, the deeper structural questions about how Barbados generates wealth and jobs remain unanswered. We are not building an economy. We are managing debt to please financial elites, Marshall charged, adding, all look to the office of the Prime Minister for relief, gifts of grace, contracts, favors, and succor. Barbados Today online publication.
Dave
That
for
was
the
so
win.
powerful.
Dave for the win.
I need that.
Yes.
Send that to me. That every Barbadian need to see that. Send
Yeah.
that to me.
I'd like to have it too. Yeah, I can't believe a guy with a PhD in economics talk, bigging up trickle down economics. It's just amazing.
Yes.
And he's using the arguments that the average Barbadian, when we come back and we see things in Barbados, we just eyeball it and we say life must be really good. And Barbadians would tell you, just because you walk around, you see that, you think so, really? And he's saying pretty much the same thing. Pretty much the same thing.
Correct.
I must say that the governor of the central bank does not sound like the governor of any central bank or any economist, rather, for that matter, based on what he said.
Yeah, I very much so.
He was wearing his red tie.
Mhm. Yeah, but this was predictable. We all talked about this on Facebook as to what is likely going to be the case with his appointment, that they celebrated as a win of, pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. I'm like, that's nonsense. He got a job. This was a political appointment. Had nothing to do with his academic bona fides. Had nothing to do with it. And the fact that he got a political appointment from someone like Mia Motley, we don't know that they had a conversation prior to his appointment. And he's playing it out today. Everybody said, watch and see that everything that comes out of the central bank under him is going to make the government look good.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he's doing.
Correct.
So obvious. So obvious.
Yes. Let me just welcome Adrian. There's a noise coming through there. Is it Adrian or is it me? Wow. It's a lot of interference there. I'm not sure. It might not have been you, Adrian. But let me just welcome Apostle Canterbury. I tell you, I don't know what we're doing, but folks, we are going straight up to 10:30 tonight. Get your coffee.
Good night.
Listen, tomorrow is Saturday, right? You're going to sleep late because we going tonight. I know Heather has to go soon, right, Heather?
I'm waiting for a call.
You're waiting for a call. All right. So we're gonna go through a bit, and then I think what we need to do is to Mr. Bob, is to reserve some for Sunday.
Yes, some slides for Sunday. I won't go any further. Stay right there.
Yes, stay right here, right? So we're talking about costs rising faster than wages. Even though they're trying to tell us that the inflation rate is 1%. High import dependency increases food prices. That's one of the reasons that the budgets are so tight. We are completely dependent on, imports. I heard the opposition leader today speaking about this in Parliament today. And I don't know if anybody wants to jump in here with the high import dependency. We're seeing a lot of even this the vegetables and fruits we see there. Most of that didn't come from our soil in Barbados. Right here in the picture. While you're thinking about that, I didn't properly welcome Apostle Canterbury. I got distracted with the sounds that were coming in. Good night, Apostle. Can you open your mic?
Well, good night to you, ma'am. Good night to our panelists. Great to see everyone, and thank you so much again for having me on the show.
Yes, most definitely. We're hearing you, but you're going in and out. But we're hearing you, but it's in and out. So see what you can do with the audio there. Yes, see if you can improve the audio. Thank you. Yes. Was it Mr. Bob who was speaking?
I can say something.
Yes.
In my opinion, import dependency right now, with regards to what is happening in the Caribbean, is scary. I don't know how much if a war truly breaks out, no ships will be coming. So I don't know if the government has considered this in its plans for supporting the people of Barbados in terms of having food available. And I think We had a situation with COVID, right? COVID should have taught us a lesson in terms of the tourists not coming and people having to get food to eat. But apparently nothing was learned from it. And that was tourism earning money, earning foreign exchange to buy imports, to buy food as imports. But this is something completely different now, a war. If a war breaks out, no food is coming. Food to survive must be grown in Barbados and throughout the entire Caribbean. So all like now, if they had not been doing anything prior to what has happened, all like now they should be making preparations to grow food. I remember some time ago, I heard the Prime Minister talk. It could have been about the Second World War. I think it was the Second World War when no ships were coming to Barbados, and she said that the people survived eating sweet potatoes. They grew food to eat, but now nothing is happening. So I really would like to challenge the government to start putting something in place to have food for Barbadians to eat, because I don't see Trump as backing down. I see him as escalating this pursuit to control oil in Venezuela. And I don't know if China is going to step in. Nobody knows what will happen, but I don't think he's stepping down. So that is my challenge tonight, for the government to have food for the people in Barbados to eat, just in case something happens.
Yeah, yeah. Let me see. I know that Apostle didn't come in to speak on this, but you can jump in anytime. We're going to your subject matter very soon. But as I was saying, we're seeing the plantains and the potatoes and the all of that on the street there. This is Barbados. We recognize it as Barbados. It's Adrian, you might not know, but a lot of this here, as Mr. Thorne was saying, we import this from St. Vincent. And that's what Mr. Thorne was speaking to the Minister of Agriculture in the Parliament today. And really and truly, I mean, we now have I have to say, the worst Minister of Agriculture in the history of Barbados. We're not seeing anything, nothing is happening, no encouragement of anything. It's terrible. He should resign. Go ahead, Apostle. You're open. Go ahead. Let's see if we can hear you.
Yes, ma'am. I hope that you can hear me clearly. Again, good night to everyone. And let me just go ahead and say that Barbados has always been, from the time I was a boy, Barbados has always existed by providing for itself. Okay. And we have, I do not know how you could put someone whose key skill is booking tickets to run agriculture.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
I have no idea where. Okay, let me give you an idea of this. Okay, so this was told to me by a very influential individual here in the island, who took the minister and some very high-end individuals into a cane field here in Barbados. I mean, there's individuals with their SUVs and their ties and so on. And she told me that one of the individuals, while they were walking through the cane field, they asked, "What is this white stuff on the ground?" And she said, "What do you mean? What do you mean?" She said, "All of this." She said, "All this white stuff that is on the ground." She said, "It's called trash." Okay, so explain to me how someone that does not know that what is left behind from the harvester is called trash. How do you get to run our country? How do you get to run our economics? How do you get to run agriculture and you do not have the basic understanding of what is going on when the crop season is in. I have individuals that are close to me who are on land lease projects here in Barbados, and I hear repeatedly that they can't reach the minister. They're not getting assistance. They're being late to. They're being promised that they're going to have assistance. That assistance never falls through. I personally had, I think it was the St. Lucie Agricultural Association. I hosted a meeting with them and the bank. I don't remember exactly which bank it was. I think it was the Inter Caribbean Development Bank. I hosted a session with them at our ministry, and I sat in the session and I listened to the pain that many of them shared about what was happening with their project and the promised aid from the government. And I listened carefully to what the lady said to them, and I told one gentleman that I was close to. I said, "Listen, you might as well make up your mind to move forward because you're not going to get that aid. You're not going to get that money." I told him from what I sensed from what that lady presented, the atmosphere that came off of her. I told him, "Now you're not going to get anything." And so said to this day, this is probably about probably about 7 years ago. And I said, "You guys are not going to get anything. I can tell you now, you're not going to get anything." So how do you have someone that cannot empathize with the whole agricultural element in Barbados as the head and a minister of agriculture? That just does not make any sense to me.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. And that's why we're doing so much heavy imports, because not only is it a matter of saying to Barbados that we don't have the land to do this, it is just that they're not putting any type of financial support. They don't have any plans. And I'll tell you by now, maybe if they'll hear this, by now we should have agricultural diversification in Barbados. Number one, we don't have any breadfruit tree plantation. We don't have any, like when I grew up in St. Andrew, we had something called the Soil Conservation Unit. They were doing something called, they grew a whole large, we called it the coconut wall. So, as little boys, we would go there, we would drink the coconut, eat the jelly and stuff like that. But a whole, probably 2, 3, 4 acres of just coconut trees. We don't have that in terms of our breadfruit. We don't have that in terms of our avocado. We don't have that in terms of our golden apples or cherries. Nothing that is really indigenous to Barbados has been produced on a large scale to the point that it can be exported out of Barbados as a cash crop. So I really don't understand when you were talking about people eating sweet potatoes and all that kind of stuff. Barbadians need to be able to prosper in their own country. Unfortunately, we do not have the people with the wisdom and Barbadians prosper. And that's what we're dealing with right now.
Yes. Somebody says, great points. No, I'm going to turn your mic off, Apostle, when you're not speaking. There is a sound that is coming through. Okay, there we go. All right, wonderful. All right, now, Adrian, we're going to close off this section, this segment here right now. But let's talk about the limiting housing supply, how that pushes rents up. Because we're talking about why the budgets are so tight in Barbados. When we have limited housing supply, we know that they promised us 10,000 houses, but they're not here, and so we have a limiting housing supply, and so the rent. Can you break that down a little bit for us, Adrian?
Yeah. Well, sorry. Yeah, well, housing has always been a touch point in Barbados. For as far back as I can remember, the Minister of Housing was always an important ministry in Barbados. And just cruising around the Caribbean, housing is a touch point for a lot of citizens. The whole concept back in Barbados of owning a piece of the rock is a big thing. Not only for Barbadians at home, but Barbadians in the diaspora. A lot of people come up here with the intent of making some money and buying a piece of land back in Barbados and building a house. I have quite a few friends who are currently in the process of doing that. So a number of things, lead to the increase in prices of real estate, housing, rental, owning. And it's hard to, I don't know, I haven't looked at this, so I can't really say with any authority or confidence which one of these many, several things is the main driver. I remember back in the days reading something about how real estate as a sector was taken off in Barbados with Mr. Altman and the others coming in and creating large parcels of land, building big buildings and houses and stuff like that. And then based on how you rate the costs, the assumed costs of these entities, not only drive up the cost of that property, but the properties around it. And so you get a cascading effect of these new subdevelopments costing a lot of money within a 1 to 2 mile radius. The properties around these new developments tend to increase, but not to the same level, but nevertheless increase. And it just goes out and out where you find that it reaches into traditional areas that the average Barbadian would live, in the village, in the terraces. And those properties, the valuations start to go up. So once the valuation starts to go up, property taxes start to go up as well. And once property taxes go up, there's this intrinsic thing in business where any assumed cost of doing business, they pass on to the consumer. And in this case, the consumer is the renter. So if my property taxes goes up, I want to maintain my profit margin. So I'm going to pass that cost along to the renter, So I am not prepared to say which one of anything is causing rents to go up. Price gouging is another one. People buy a property with the idea of renting it to make money, and they've set themselves a goal of reaching a target in terms of funds within 5 years. So they take that amount divided by 5, and then and that's how they're going to do their rent, because they want to get this amount of money in a particular time. So that's a part of it as well. But it's hard to say which one is higher, or the true reason, or is the core reason as to the high prices of rental properties today.
Can I also add that Airbnbs, the presence of Airbnbs have reduced the quantity or the availability of rental units for persons. So they have shrunken the market. So that has contributed to there being less houses available to rent, houses and apartments to regular Barbadians. And some people do not like to rent to Barbadians now because they claim they will get more if they have an Airbnb, and people, the occupancy of it, the rates are higher, and they will make more per month if they have an Airbnb as opposed to renting to a regular family at the standard rate. So that has contributed to it as well.
One of the reasons. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. We have a caller on the line, and we're going to go to Apostle. Caller, you're calling to talk about cost of living?
Yes, please, Marcy.
Yes, welcome.
Good night to you.
Yes, welcome.
And good night to your guest.
Yes, welcome to the Marcy Week Show.
Yes, thank you much. Now, only last night, before I start about last night, look at it last night. I heard Colin Jordan on the news talking about the minimum wage. And he said some kind of, I think he said 75 cents. I think Dave might got the clip in. He thing from last night, CBC News. I think he said the security guard getting 75 cents.
21 cents. 21 cents.
21 cents.
More on the hour, more.
Right, and the we call them the supermarket girls and the gas station girls and them other people. How much them getting?
I didn't hear that part. I just know about the security guard.
Everybody come out early, everybody come back for the YouTube and look for CBC News. I was on the road for the whole day.
Okay. We'll
All
check it out.
right. Yes. Now what's the difference? Now, yesterday morning I've been down the road and I bought 2 packs of the Fit biscuits. One, and here look there. Never know the line.
All right, no problem.
Yes, do that. One pack of biscuits, that's in my constituency.
Yes.
A pack of biscuit costs, one pack costs $2.25. That's the Fit biscuit.
Yeah.
I bought a 2 pack. All right, some good. Then in the evening now, I've been down to my bakery and I bought a custard pone as usual. And as usual, $7.50 for the custard pone and $1.12 back.
Oh wow! So you pay for the cassava pone? You paid $7.50.
Yes.
Wow.
I paid. So I buy 2, a custard pone and a corn pone. But then I had the corn pone. I only had the cassava, so I come along with the cassava. I pay a VAT on both of them.
$1.12.
Yes, on them pone. You know there's still VAT in the supermarket? All right. You see why I got to do it, Nicholas Bassett tell me? Don't stand home. He's called me bitch. Don't stand home. Go to the polls. I got to go. And Gary tell me, whatever they give me, don't say no. But make sure don't take no checks. Because next day we hear that commission end up with, what do they call it?
Bounce checks.
A fraud and bounce check and all this kind of big name.
Yes. So they
And
tell you.
the first business that Philadelphia go is in 6 rows about here. Now, then Miss Martley talking about things. You know, she put in mind, you go to a funeral and you hear the priest say, the Lord give and the Lord take up.
Yes.
But she charged them everything right there. She don't give us nothing. Now, I went to my pharmacy today. I have 3 receipts.
She take it.
Yeah, 3 receipts from the pharmacy. And the days that I counted with the Adams and the help my name that gone Arthur.
Arthur, okay.
You know, I could keep these 3 receipts in my hand. And when my income tax form come out, these 3 receipts go to my income tax.
Okay.
I get them back for my medication.
Oh yes, okay.
Okay. You know, if I go to the lumber yard and buy 6 gallons for my house, any repairs I do to this house. But thank God I got a pin cabinet to do it myself. You know, when you get that bill from any advertising about any lumber yard, I come home with it. And then my income tax form come out. I got that receipt. I'm a siding board. Usually they call it siding board and flooring board and you know that kind of thing. I submit that receipt. I get them back. Something from my repairs to this house. You know we don't get nothing.
Nothing.
Miss Body don't give us nothing. You know, for the whole week, pensioners bombard my house with calls for the highways, the byways, the no-ways. Not the young ones, not the open alone, but even the young ones. Commissioner, you hear the pensioners getting $500? I said, no. It was, oh, no, come on, the pensioners getting $500 more. The Lord today went for the little kakada, this Jimmy. And it's 5 cents more, now 5 cents less. For the more, 500.
So you know you're not getting that for Christmas. You're not getting no 500 for Christmas.
I got a question to ask.
Yes.
You know, I went to lodge, and I'm gonna just lodge all of that. Now I hear the central bank governor and the minister of finance talking about this. Let's talk about the surplus.
Yes.
I was a 54 model. I was a boy with that school. I went to college grad, the Prescott and University of Pakistan. Do you know advance civil service a bonus? The thing they would tell you, Mr. Fella here with the blue shirt on.
Oh, he will tell us.
Yeah. Someone to get a bonus that they did at Alabama.
Okay, I'm learning a lot.
I was a young boy. What we get, yeah, and then I can remember then when you could have, I was working education, any department was this you working at this time of the year, you could have gone and borrow money for your department. And they have paid that by the financial, which is March, April. They tell you to go to the Mothers Union, the Credit Union, the Christian Union, all these agencies to borrow money. You ask for $100, you put out $500 more. And you can put a surplus and everything, and they give us nothing.
Yeah.
All this growth. I then got the audacity to come and tell me, what, 5 what? Another 30 now, and 5 more years. Last, I can stand up over to them. The last election.
Yes.
I had a grandmother child. So my mother died and left me. Election morning, before I could have changed the frock that, you know, there's Afro pregnant now. Another storyteller, a prophet, John the Baptist. Afro pregnant said, before I could change my frock, I sleep in her and bathe my face and hand.
Yes.
The cow in the front of my house, one after that. You ready? You ready? You ready? Tell the don't come. I was voting from the age of 18. I walked to every polling booth.
And you're going to vote. You're going to vote.
Nicholas Bradford, he came from his work cemetery in Caracon, and this house, and he tell me, go to the polls.
Wow.
And I can do it. He tell me go to the polls.
Go to the polls.
Yeah. Tell me don't stand home.
Don't stand home. Don't stand home.
I want Bajans all over this place. Nicholas Bradford told me at a meeting in Granans. He said, Baj, do not stand at your house in Granans. And don't go to the poll. My poll was Grannan Arsenal School. You go. But I keep the rest for the last. But you make sure I get to St. Luke's Church Hall. That's it. They changed the station. But at the time at dogs, I can walk up that long road. I'm going to go the prisoners and vote. Don't stand the red cab over here. Try and get in it.
Yes.
I can walk.
Yes, Commissioner. I tell you, I enjoy this. I enjoy this, and I'm putting down your number so that we will you can call in whenever I see it. I know because I realized you were calling earlier, but this is very educational for me, and you and I will talk off. We will talk off air, okay? So you are
yes, please, ma'am.
Yes, but it's a pleasure talking with you tonight. Thank you for calling in.
Yes,
thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, enjoy the night and tell my guests to get home safe. That's much you want, but sleep well, sleep well.
All right, Mr. Commissioner.
Yeah.
Yes, God bless
Yeah.
him. Yes.
My
Well,
my my, my
I'm so happy that he's able to figure out how to call in for WhatsApp because and he practiced
yes.
and he got it. He got it. He got
My
it.
Marcy, my Marcy might feel a little taller. I love that.
And it's casada.
The
Casada,
casada.
not
Yes, the
cassava. I love it.
casada.
I love it. I love
It's
it.
out of post.
I love it,
Yes.
Apostle. This is
They
good.
do.
And I wrote it down. He said, don't stand home. You gotta vote. When if they offer you something, when they offer
Okay,
you
okay.
something, take it and vote responsibly. I write it down. We need to put that on a little something to send around. That's
Eat
what
them out, drink them out, and vote your conscience.
yes. Well, and we're going right to Apostle. Apostle, we gonna have to
Yes, ma'am.
you have to come back with us on Sunday night. I know Sunday is a tough day for you. That's a big work day for you, but you know, we're over time and we still want to give you some time. What happens if you do not vote in 2026? That's the picture that is on the screen. What happens when you do not vote in 2026? Unfortunately, we can't take any more calls right now. We're just going to go straight to Apostle. Go right ahead, Apostle.
In a nutshell, just share quickly what we briefly discussed earlier on today and yes. But this is in regards to Mr. Comishaw's statement that he made recently in the Nation newspaper about the that he was disturbed that Barbadians were saying about bones and the flag being buried in Ghana, and he said that Barbadians were fooled, and he went on to say, and he quoted that rather what was taken to Ghana was simply a quantity of ordinary Newton soil or earth. Okay, I wanted to say why this spells even more danger for Barbados, and I'll go into this probably Sunday if I have the opportunity some more. But I am certain, first of all, that Mr. Comishon did not consult the Prime Minister when he had this interview with the nation. And as I recall, he made it clear that he was the one that was really responsible for the whole system of getting these remains and getting this soil to go up to Ghana. But what I want to say here quickly and why this spells more danger politically and then also later on spiritually is if you go back and look at the video that was posted back in 2019, the video says it is a reinterment ceremony. Okay, so putting soil in a coffin and send it to Ghana could not be a reinterment ceremony. And if you pay close attention to the video that is still on YouTube, a couple of videos are still there. In his remarks, the CEO of the Ghana Tourism Authority, his name is Akwasi Ajiman, he said in his remarks, remains of an unknown enslaved African. So that means that they were of the opinion, all of that ceremony, they were of the opinion that in that coffin, there were actual physical remains of an enslaved Ghanaian African, okay? Because they are not going to bury remains from another ethnic group in their country. Now, if you go back and you look at the video, when Prime Minister Motley commented when she had her time to speak. Her remarks went like this: the remains, the soil which we bring here today, is a symbol of all who have gone before. By the burial which we have here today, we are not burying the past, she said, but we are celebrating the resilience of our people. She said, by the burial that we have here today, which means that either Mr. Commission did not tell the Prime Minister that the only thing that was in the box that they took up there, that he obviously didn't tell her that it was just soil, or either he told the Prime Minister it was just soil and the Prime Minister went up there and lied. Now, 6 years later, he says there was no burial of remains and there was no burial of the flag. 6 years later. So all of that reinterment ceremony that they had in Ghana, that ceremony was definitely and clearly a sign that the Barbadian government deceived the people of Ghana. Because that entire ceremony, when you watch it, you can see that they are not of the opinion that it is just soil in that box. They are of the opinion that there's also remains of an African slave that is inside of that box. So which means that the government of Barbados, either Prime Minister Motley did not know, she wasn't informed by Mr. Commission, or secondly, he informed her, but she went there and said, yes, remains are in there, along with what she calls sacred soil. So this spells danger for Barbados. Now, this information, as far as I'm aware, is already in Ghana. The fact that he mentioned there were no remains, okay? There were no remains. That's the reality. No bones or flag were buried in Ghana. And the other part that I want to say why this is now very, very dangerous. All of the rituals that were performed, since there were no bones in that box, all of the rituals that were performed over emblems from Barbados, soil from Barbados, the coffin that was made out of 12 pieces of wood indigenous to Barbados, and also the flag of Barbados. Okay, so the soil, the wood, and the flag. Now we have in that video where the high priest is performing what is called libation, okay, where he pours that liquid down into the grave while the flag is still on the box. So the flag is in the grave, it is in the grave on top of the box while he is performing what is called libation, which is to appease the spirits. They do it here at Newton all the time. Okay, so whether you're saying after the ritual was done, the flag was removed, it doesn't make any difference. The ritual was done while the flag was in the grave. Okay, now I want to make it abundantly clear because a lot of individuals, you know, need to have discernment, because this doesn't work well either way, where Mr. Commission is concerned, or where the Prime Minister is concerned, or where the government of Ghana is concerned. It doesn't work well. Somebody is lying here. So the question we need to ask Mr. Commission, were you in Newton when they took up the soil? Do you know exactly what was in the box? Were you there? Did you inform the Prime Minister that it was only soil in the box? There were no remains of any African slave. That, as the Ghanaians were saying, this is the year of the return. They call 2019 the year of return. So which means that a ritual or a spell was cast over the people of Barbados. Now I want to listen to this carefully. I have a mind who contacted me. They have a relative that is a part of the spiritual Baptist in St. Vincent. Okay, they say that they showed the video to one of the high priests in St. Vincent, someone who was already involved
in occult activity. They showed him the video of what was being done in Ghana, that very video, and he told the individual he's sorry for the people of Barbados. Now, why would he say that if he did not know and have full understanding of what was happening? Now, let me go right out and tell those who are listening tonight what actually happened there. What happened there is that a ritual was done. And I know people will say, oh, conspiracy theorists are always talking nonsense, but this is where you have to have discernment. Okay, what was done, that ritual that was performed was done to keep Prime Minister Motley as the dominant leadership figure in Barbados. So right now, elections in Barbados will no longer be democratic. It will be done because there is now a belief that I am to lead the nation of Barbados and I am to be that only leader. Now, what is shocking is when you listen to the video, the CEO of the Ghanaian Tourism Authority, he only mentioned remains. It is our Prime Minister in her statement where she said remains and soil. So on some level, she knew that soil was in the box. So somebody either told her it was only soil, and she made the people in Ghana believe that there was maize and soil, or somebody did not inform her to what was going on. So somebody is lying. Either Mr. Comishon is lying, or the Prime Minister is lying, or whoever put whatever in that box are lying, but somebody isn't telling the truth. Because if she said while she was there, remains and soil, you can play the video and you will hear specifically where she says remains and soil. So it is her belief that there were remains in the box along with soil from Barbados. So if Mr. Comishon comes now and says there was no remains, it was only soil in the box, somebody is lying. And I can understand why Prime Minister Motley does not allow the people around her to go and have any interviews with the government, because she is obviously surrounded by a vast majority of folk who don't really know what's going on, and they cannot properly represent her or properly represent themselves, which spells a big issue within the Barbados Labour Party right now. So for the reality of what's happening, and I'll probably share some more if I have the opportunity on Sunday night, but the fact that Ghana has now found out that there were no remains in that box, and they went through that whole charade of people dancing, got this flag draped, all of these speeches, all of this year of the return, and the circle being completed, going down by the river, doing all of this crazy stuff. They were put through all of that charade and did not know that there were no remains in that box. So I can tell you one thing, they're coming for Miss Motley. They're coming for everybody who went up there in 2019. They're coming for Mr. Comishon, because the government of Ghana knows right now that they were hoodwinked, they were deceived in 2019. There were no remains that came back up there. And I can tell you that those folk are coming. And one of the things to prove to you that this is what is going to happen, they're going to come for her. And I can bet you right now, one of the things that she's going to do is she's going to seek to get close to the church in Barbados. And I can tell you it will be a sign. That will be a sign that she's afraid. She knows she's no longer covered. She's no longer protected. She really has to deal with Mr. Comishon at this point in time, because he's the one that just let the cat out of the bag. We know now that what actually happened up there was more dangerous than if there were actual bones inside of that little casket that they have, which was made out of 12 pieces of wood indigenous to Barbados. So whoever made that casket knew exactly what they were doing. This was something that's very, very dangerous. So Mr. Comishon has just alerted us, the people of Barbados, and obviously the church leaders in Barbados, that something very sinister took place
in Ghana. So if he's going to come and say 6 years later, listen, no flag was buried up there. Listen, stop wasting our time. The flag was in the ground when the man was pouring the desecrating the flag. Okay, so that is burying Barbados under Mayor Motley's rule. Okay, so this is why you'll see all of this behavior. You will see, the behavior during COVID, lying to the public. You'll see the church being closed. You'll see all of this secret attempt to pass laws through Parliament while, and during festive seasons while Bajans are out doing their stuff. You'll see all of this disrespect of the police. These statements, I don't want to prosecute anyone, I want money. You see all of that behavior. You see the behavior that sends people to St. Vincent to interfere with an election. You'll see the statements being made on other political platforms, while she's abroad. I don't wear red for no reason. I'm a Labour. So you're not hearing a person who believes in democracy anymore. It's this individual that says red must lead, and that's all that is supposed to happen. So the rights of the people, as far as democracy, have been taken from them, and any and everything will be done to make sure that an election is in the favor of the Barbados Labour Party going forward. So I can tell you that we will not have free and fair elections again. I don't care what they say. This was done to make sure that we stay under a particular rule. So 1 minute you will hear, I'm not going to be running again. Next minute, I'm coming back again. You'll see that type of behavior. So I don't have the time really to go very deep into this reality, but I'm telling you right now, the Prime Minister needs to have a very serious conversation with Mr. Commission. They need to bring a press conference to the people of Barbados because we need to know who's lying. Either the Prime Minister went up there and lied, and if she did, that is a very serious offense, and they're going to pay for it. If it's Mr. Commission that is lying to the people of Barbados, then we need to know, because at this point, this cannot be swept under the carpet without the people of Barbados knowing exactly. He's saying no flag was buried, no bones went up there, only soil. The Prime Minister goes up there and she says remains and soil. So we need to know who lied to the people of Barbados and who lied to the people of Ghana. But this is going to turn out really, really badly on all levels. This is ugly for the people of Barbados. This is ugly for the relations between Barbados and Ghana. And I tell you, these folk, once these folk find out, all these ritual people find out that they were hoodwinked, they were lied to, they were tricked, I guarantee you, we're going to see some stuff happening here in Barbados on an unprecedented level. And I can tell you right now, she's very, very scared, and she should be at this moment. So that's all I have to say at the moment. But somebody's lying. We need to know who that person is. It's either the Prime Minister or Mr. Commission. But one of them need to make it clear to the people of Barbados and the people of Ghana. As a matter of fact, let me just say this before I close as well.
Yes.
Since Mr. Commission was the one handling this entire event, the moment that the newspaper carried remains and the CEO of the Ghana Tourism Authority mentioned the return of the remains of this unknown African slave, the moment that the Prime Minister got up there and said remains and soil, since he was the one behind it, he should have immediately called or sent an email and asked him to correct it. 6 years later, he now wants to come out and say, oh, Barbados, he's bothered by Barbados. No, you should be bothered by yourself. You should be bothered by yourself, and you should be bothered by the fact that this government defrauded and deceived the people of Asen Nassau, the Ghanaian government, and this needs to be corrected right now.
Yes. Thank you so much, Apostle. And as the comment here is saying, 6 years later, and that is why I believe he's lying, and that's my belief on it. I think that's something we really need to get to hold a minute. The noises that come through. Yes, that's why we really need to get to the bottom of it. Those, somebody saying that the next mic on the move should be in Ghana. I've started to reach out to some of my friends there, which I had done before, and they told me that, oh, Marcia, you guys brought the bones home. That's how they see it, and that's what it was said to them. The Prime Minister wrote on her Facebook page, which I showed you the other night. She said remains on her Facebook page is still there. 2019, it is still there. Remains is on our Facebook page. But thank you so much, Apostle. And so I'm just gonna, Adrian, your micro's open, and you can go right ahead now.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, if I'm just reading the article, you could see the lies coming out from the article. The article starts out as quoting Commersong as saying, no bones were dug up or taken from the Newton slave burial ground. Rather, what was dug up and taken to Ghana was simply a quantity of ordinary Newton soil or earth. That's what he's quoted as saying. Then later in the same article, he's then quoted to say, because he didn't go, so he said he was contacted and requested to compose an appropriate inscription to be placed on the box that contained the Newton soil. And this is what he wrote. He said, I did as requested, and the inscription I composed and sent to Ghana reads as follows. The burial of this sacred soil imbues the essence of our common ancestors, symbolizing our homecoming, our reconnection. So all of a sudden, in the space of one article, simple soil became sacred soil. So there's a line about the soil, right? And then he goes on to say, the last thing he goes on to say was that the talk of remains was done by the media in Ghana. But here it is. We saw at the very burial itself, Ghanaian officials referring to it as remains. Commersong is lying, and he needs to be told to his face that he's lying, because he was disparaging towards those Barbadians, us, who have a problem with this whole approach. Yeah. Right? He calls us inveterates, right? Mm-hmm. So he needs to be told to his face that he is a dishonest person, because he really is.
Yeah, and the other thing is this: if you look at this article, Dave, if you go up, this is the one that has the Ghanaian official in the top left-hand corner. Now, normally, if you read an article and you see these two pictures there, you would think it's an article. All right, you would think that you're going to get some comment from the person that the picture that you see there, and it says the Ghana tourism minister, something or some reference. When I read the article, and I don't know if Adrian can help me out, I probably I might have been wrong. I don't see any reference to this woman that is there. And if it is true that there is no reference, Adrian is going to double check for me. If it is true that there's no reference, all that is happening. I'm the little bit that I understand about media. All that is happening is that this picture is put there to give us the impression that what is being said is coming from an official source, and that it gives credibility. Then it seeks to lend credibility to the article, but it's no real way. Go ahead, Adrian. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, so this is more of the same as what we were discussing earlier about symbols, things representing symbols, and not the things themselves. So this is symbolizing that they and the Ghanaians are on the same page with regards to what he is stating. We need to confirm that, because reading the article, right. Reading the article, we don't get that. There's no comment from them, but having her picture up there lends that idea, and we need to confirm that they know about this, which I don't believe they do, that he's just trying to cover his butt, because as I said, he lied about the soil, right? In one breath, he says simple soil, and the other, he says it's sacred, right? Trying to give credence to it being more than regular soil. Why would he do that? So I think, yeah, definitely, if the Ghanaians are not aware of it, because that lady is in the video saying remains, and we're hearing about sacred soil, that's really simple soil. So they need to be made aware. And if they're okay with it, well, I guess they're okay with it. But I wouldn't take Commission's word for it that they do. I wouldn't take this attempt to demonstrate, to give impressions or to symbolize that there is right, to symbolize that everybody's on the same page when in fact they may not be. So we need to do due diligence and treat to this guy as not telling the truth, and needs to be confirmed.
Yeah, yeah. You know, this is one thing I know. I'm not, by the grace of God, I'm not going to let go of it, because this is at the crux of what's happening in Barbados. This spiritual component of it, it's very, very real for Barbados, and I'm, by God's grace, I'm not gonna let go of it. But let me go to Mr. Bob, and we're gonna close off tonight while we're having these late shows. And I'm going now to go, and I'm going to be seasoning up my meat tonight when I finish. So we're having these late shows. Go ahead, Mr. Bob.
I have said when I saw the whole ritual that if a prime minister can stand and be part of a ceremony that puts the nation's flag in the ground, and then she watches those persons doing the ritual, drink alcohol, and throw some on the flag, drip on the box, in a grave, she has lost any right to be the prime minister of this country.
Why you say that, man? Molly's his home like drink a regular white rum, eat a pork chop at the same time. So
But
this is not unusual for her.
So that kind of desecration and disrespect to the flag should be tolerated.
No, I was just talking about. I thought you meant was
No,
hanging it more on the drinking part. Yeah, the flag.
No,
that's distasteful. That should never happen.
This is much more than what she likes to drink or what she likes to eat. This is about a flag, the flag of a country that there's so many rules. I watch cadets at school go through the flag and raising of the flag, and if they do it wrong, the cadet officer there is so angry and annoyed with them. And this is what she does. She has lost any credibility or any right to be called the leader of Barbados or to even seek further political office as prime minister. And I will maintain that until they come and make a statement on what we saw there.
You think there's any relationship between what she witnessed occurred to the flag, it actually going into a coffin, and the fact that she doesn't wear a flag pin like other leaders do? You think there's any relationship there? I don't think so. It's just odd. Yeah.
I definitely think I would be, I don't know for a fact, but I believe it's connected, because I can't see why not. It is something that is customarily done. I can't see why not wear the pin. I can't understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me, and it's something that causes me to I just something about it is wrong. It's something about this whole thing is wrong, and for me, I think Barbadians need to be more concerned, to be really concerned about that, because of what's on the screen. I pledge allegiance to my country, Barbados, and to my flag. I don't know, and I'm doing my hand like this because that's how I can't understand it. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, how meaningful can the pledge be to you if you sat and witnessed that flag go into a coffin, and you don't even have the decency to wear the flag pin like other leaders do?
Okay.
You know, how important is that flag, that pledge to you? There's an argument to be made there. There's an argument to be made there. Why is it so difficult for her to wear the flag? I mean, somebody needs to ask her that. Why is it so difficult for you to wear the flag pin? You know, what's that all about?
Good question.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, Apostle, she made sure she wore red to St. Lucia. She said, I'm not wearing red because I want to wear red. I'm wearing red because the red symbolizes, right? The red symbolizes that I'm in agreement. You know, I'm supporting the Labour Party. So when you don't wear the flag, what are you saying to Barbados? Are you upholding the and defending the flag and Barbados? Are you not? I mean, Apostle, you I know you wanted to say something, but I turned off your mic. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Well, I think that one of the things that's happened coming out of that whole ritual, and you having a flag there, and someone is pouring alcohol on the flag, okay, and on the box. That is very, very disturbing. I like what Mr. Bob said about the fact that the moment that whole contingent returned here to Barbados, that they should have been picked up at the airport for desecrating the flag. Okay, and a lot of people, and this I didn't actually bring this up, but let me explain something about the whole issue of alcohol. This is why alcohol is called spirit. Okay, the word originally is it's an Arabian word. Okay, and the term there is, we call it alcohol, but the original word is alghul, alghul, alghul. And you can probably even go on Google and put it up, ghoul, and it will tell you that a ghoul is a monstrous demon-like creature. It's from Arabian folklore, known for haunting graveyards, robbing graves, and eating corpses. And it also shapeshifts in order to lure its victims. So again, known for hunting graveyards, robbing graves, and eating corpses. So this is why I said what they did up there in Ghana, if it was just soil, regular Newton soil or earth, as he said, or sacred soil that was in that casket, that's Barbadians being buried under her rule. That is what happened. And for my, I would love to get some of my other church brethren to understand the depth of what really took place in Ghana. But of course, people are going to say conspiracy theories. No, you don't like Mia Motley. You don't, she can never do anything good. And people will go down that route in order to throw you off. But what is it going to take when these individuals eventually send a message and we see it online and they made it clear? We were told that it was remains in the box, not sacred soil or regular soil or whatever. We were told remains of a slave, which is what the gentleman mentioned when he gave his speech. He said remains of an unknown African slave. So how is it that the authorities in Ghana are saying one thing, now 6 years later, Mr. Colishon said they don't know what they're talking about. Bajans don't know what they're talking about. There was no flag buried. There were no bones buried because we never sent that up there. So I'm telling you, this is brewing for trouble, because there's going to be a response to this administration from Ghana. You watch and see. I'm telling you, you just watch and see what's going to happen. But somebody is lying, and the people of Barbados and the people of Ghana deserves to know the truth as to what happened in 2019.
Yeah. And they will. We will get to the bottom of it. So let's make our last comments, and because it's 10:36, I can't believe it. Go ahead, Adrian.
So I just want to talk a little bit about again about Mia Motley not wearing the Barbados flag. She's constantly wearing that circular emblem of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. She wears that all the time. And I recently had to write a comment for a whole bunch of radio stations throughout the Caribbean who's bigging up the fact that she won something from Forbes, to remind them that, all of this power that she supposedly have on the globe derives from her being the Prime Minister of Barbados, a country that she's consistently ignoring its local needs, right? So why is it that you can wear the pin of an institution that only invited you to be a member and a speaker at it as a result of being the leader of Barbados. Why can't you wear our flag, Mia Motley? Why? Because that flag, that emblem you're wearing, right? You didn't get to be part of that on your own. You got to be a part of that by being the Prime Minister of Barbados. So why can't you represent our flag above that? Why is that the only thing you can wear? And that's a question that I would, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna post this on her Facebook page because I need an answer.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Thank you, Singh. I've been waiting for Barbadians to pick this up, this whole thing about this flag, because I know that where I was born, that could not fly there. That could not fly there. I'm telling you, Mr. Bob. Your final thoughts before we go.
I just want to encourage the members of the loyal opposition to continue to listen to the issues and not be swayed by the sweet sounding rhetoric, overworked cliches and phrases, that they pay attention to what is happening around them. It is reality. Do not allow anybody from anywhere, either on social media, any central bank, or any minister of this government, to paint a different picture of your reality, to say to you that what is happening to you or what you experience is not real, and to vote based on what you're experiencing at this time. At this time.
Apostle, let's have a quick word before we go. Let's see.
One thing I want to say here, and this is a quote from Thomas Jefferson. And one of the things he says, I predict the future happiness for Americans if they can prevent the government from wasting the labors of the people under the pretense of taking care of them. And that's where I want to end tonight.
Wow.
Says, I predict the future happiness of Americans if they can prevent the government from wasting the labors of the people under the pretense of taking care of them.
Wow. I thought, yeah, I mean, thank you all so very much. Heather had to go early. We had a full house tonight. Really full house tonight. Looking forward to Sunday, everybody, where we're going to finish up cost of living, and we are going to do our animal farm at the same time. And moving on, we have to move on to controlling crime. So that's going to be the next one that we're dealing with, controlling crime. So on Sunday, we will determine if we're going to do animal farm. We'll have to see, but we need to finish this up. The Barbados government end of term performance card. We are trying our best to stick to it and to complete it before we go off for, our holidays. All right. Thanks to everybody. Remember, read chapter 3 of Animal Farm, and we are going to do controlling crime. So go ahead and start to prepare on that. Do some research on it. I want to say about the lady who called in the other night. I spoke to one official about her, and we're doing some more, doing some more background checks, etc. And hopefully by Sunday, latest Monday, I'll have something to say to you about that situation. Okay. So we did speak to someone the very night when the show was finished. I spoke with someone from, it's not welfare, but those who take care, it's like the relief arm for disasters, etc. in Barbados. I don't have the correct name of the agency, but I'll have everything for you, God willing, on Monday. All right, God. Okay. So very, very nice, guys, to have everybody tonight. Thank you all. Bye, viewers. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Thank
Good
you,
night,
William.
everybody.
Alwyn.
All
And
right.
thank
Good night.
you,
Good
Apollo.
night.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Good night.
Blessings.